Hello and welcome back to The House That Happens. It's a day late, it's a dollar short, but we're still recording live from Chewy's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in all Ontario. You know it's #1 in our hearts. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz.
And we are recording live from Eclipse Day.
Yes. Yes. I didn't see it. I was doing my hair.
We saw it. It was very dark at work and it was very cloudy, so we couldn't really get a good look at it. But
I want to be one of the guys that set up one of the cottage industries from here to Niagara Falls, like selling glasses, shirts, cups, mugs, whatever. People made money today.
Oh, sure. Do you hear about Erie, Pennsylvania? So that was one of the spots where you could see.
Yeah, that was supposed to be one of the prime.
So Erie is apparently a town of 100,000. They were expecting 200,000 to come in.
Oh, the money they made in one day. Amazing. You know what's really trips me out, though, is that these scientists are so badass. They'll tell us the next one is in 2042, and then the next insane one is in 2150 or some shit. But they're not quite sure if it's going to rain tomorrow. But that's in context.
Way different,
I gotta preface that. You know what I mean? But it is kind of weird, don't you think?
Well, I mean, following how a cloud is going to move is a little more complicated than following, the planets and whatever. It's all like a rotation that's very predictable.
Okay, but everything just shifts a little bit. That's why we don't know the weather, right?
Yeah.
So if the Earth just shifted, say, half a degree in, say, 1998. Then all the seasons are going to change by a month. And that's why October's great, like I keep telling you. And don't worry about climate change. Pretty simple. Okay, can we get that? I hope everybody enjoyed it. A big shout out to my granddaughter, Pepper and Haley, and Haley's family. You guys got some stuff set up and got some stuff, made some good pictures. I hope they had a great day.
I hope so too.
By the way, we got to tell everybody, we just did. We said total eclipse, which is a happy Monday in my world. My partner here, Mr. Andrew Milani, he's being a brave soldier. He doesn't look as good as he normally does because he's a good-looking guy, but he's battling through a little bit of physicality. Is that the word?
Sure.
Did you battle through it better than Billy Idol did on that WrestleMania stuff last night?
I have no idea.
Billy Idol is the new...
You don't know? I don't watch that stuff.
I'm just telling you, man. I heard it was world record attendance, The Rock, The Undertaker, and Billy Idol. I
had no idea Billy Idol has anything to do with wrestling, but
he steals Rory McIlroy's golf cart too. So that's pretty cool.
I've seen that commercial. Yes.
Okay, so he's not only is he stealing Rory McIlroy's golf cart, I heard he's the undisputed heavyweight champion in the WWE. But that's when Zach shout out. I told you I would shout out. That's all you get for that kind of stuff. Oh, and by the way, we should shout out to because we are at Chewy's Bar and Grill, correct?
We are.
So we should have a big shout out to Zach Sandu, who plays for the Oshawa Generals, who won their first round 4-1 against Barrie and continue against Ottawa, I think, starting this weekend.
Yeah.
And he's getting good minutes, and he scored a great goal last week.
I saw that. Serge posted that on
that was
Facebook.
Very, very cool. So, Zach, if you're listening, we're shouting out good luck to Oshawa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a little bit random, but I should throw this out here, too.
Keep the randoms going.
There's some fake news on Google regarding Chewy's.
Ooh.
There's a note saying that we are permanently closed. That is not true.
100%
only temporarily closed.
Yeah, yes.
I tried to put in a thing at Google saying it's only temporarily closed. We'll see if anyone listens.
Okay, so here's how we're going to verify that. See, you might have seen me at Chewy's a little more than Andrew. However, since we're both here, we were letting you know. When the comeback comes back, it's going to be intense, jovial, and highly entertaining. That's why it's taking a little bit more longer than usual.
Absolutely.
Right, Serge? You know that? Speaking of coming back and making money and all this, one thing I've noticed on the TV, and I'm thinking it's kind of neat at some points, but it might be overkill by the time June gets here. What do you think about the networks really commercializing the athletes for the 2024 Olympics in France? It's in France, right?
France, yeah.
Yeah. Did you see some of the commercials?
I haven't seen any of them yet, to be honest.
What? You can't be watching television.
I am watching.
You can't see the guy running down the track and field dude with the gold cape?
No.
Or
I've never seen that commercial.
Swimmer. Oh, there's 6 or 7 of them. They're very, very... Simone Biles is in one.
Okay.
They're very, very cool commercials to advertise for the 2024 Olympics. I've seen a little bit like this in the past, but of this level, no. It's like the complete commercialization of these guys. NIL again? Some kind of NIL, because everyone's a pro now, right? Everyone's a pro, everyone's a brand, and like us, everyone's got a podcast, right?
That's it.
That's how it works, correct?
I guess we'll move this on to...
No. We got a couple more randoms we want to do because we're going to be quick. It's a Monday night. I think we've already agreed on this. don't you think it's great that the Missouri voters had a referendum that said they're not paying a tax for no two stadiums?
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? For NFL and baseball team. Like, we're talking about NFL, the place we call the monolith, who is finding more ways to print money every day, and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have the unmitigated audacity to say to their fans as they're raising the ticket prices.
Of course.
Okay, raising the ticket prices. Hey, man, you don't mind paying a little extra tax so we can make more money, do you? We at the House That Happened, what do we say about that?
Fuck that.
Thank you. Just wanted to throw that out there because not only are we all about the highest level of competition,
We're for the fans.
we're for the fans. Fans first, baby. And
And a little bit more on some private money potentially going to an arena later, but that'll come later in the show.
oh, okay. Do you know someone was talking to me the other day about Woodbine and, you know, my theory up the road here?
Oh, yeah.
400 acres are left undeveloped. Everything around it is developed and planned. What is going on there, Andrew?
Hopefully nothing that any government money is going into.
No, they say it's private. The private money's
Good.
there. I heard most
Good.
of it's private's going to be there. But you know what we're going to call it, and I think we should call them the Toronto Argonauts. Just
No,
saying if it goes there.
boo.
Just saying if we're going there.
No,
We're not-
the
we didn't
Argos
say
are their
nothing.
own team. They're their own history.
We're just saying, we're not saying nothing. We're talking like, you know, my favorite subject. Leprechauns riding unicorns. That's all we're talking about right here. But there's 400 acres up the street with which they can do it on.
That's true.
I'm just letting
don't
you
call
know.
them the Argos and dress them in red, and I'm happy.
Okay, there you go. I got one more little thing, okay? What would you say if you're like, you're courtside, right? Like some of these guys get to be
Okay.
courtsides, and they look at the players as the game is getting started. And I'm not going to name any names because, like, it could be alleged, but I heard the Pearson say it right on TV.
Oh, no.
Right on TV, they said this, and I thought it was no big deal to a guy of my ilk, and you'll understand why in a minute. He said, he was looking down the court, and he was walking down the side of the court, and the guys were warming up, and he looked at the guy warming up, taking shots, and he said, holy shit, man, that guy's hired me. And he's about to start an NBA game.
He's what than me?
He's higher than me.
Oh, he's higher than me. Oh, my God.
Scored 31. 31. I'm not just going to tell you his lines, but maybe you'll go. I'm not going to tell you his complete line because then you can probably
Is this
go.
Mr. KD?
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, it wasn't KD this
Okay.
time. But he's prime suspect.
He's open about it. Yeah.
He's prime suspect. But it was a very highly respected stoner on the TV.
Interesting.
Said, "Wow, man, higher than me. Holy cow! Scored 31." So if you went to a game and you see that your favorite player and you shook his hand before the game started and he was red-eyed, how would I feel? I'm going, man, I played a semifinal of an Ontario squash final and I blew a fatty just before. I lost in overtime, but I won 4 previous matches. So I don't know. It's all about your makeup, genetic, and your mental capacity to do as such. You know what I mean? This is a happy Monday, I believe. That's enough there. Where are we going with the show, buddy?
Let's go straight to Formula One. It was in Japan yesterday. Surprise, surprise, another win for Mr. Max Verstappen in Red Bull.
Oh, no, it was not a surprise. It was a domination. It was another one of those where Max went to your house, stole your girlfriend and your weed, kicked your dog, and ran away with your car. It was, and you know, I didn't get to watch it. I actually watched it live. After 10 laps, bro.
He was gone.
It was done. You know what's really cool, though? I'm not a traveler. I don't like going places. I mean, like I said, if I go to the end of my driveway, I got the shoeies today, man. I'm good, okay? But I think I really want to go to Japan. Because,
oh, hell yeah.
Because it's just so different. You see how the fans are? The way they react? The politeness, the jovialness, the insanity.
The way they dress up is the best, too.
Oh, and the way they dress up. It's like anime or something. It was so cool watching all the other stuff go with it. That shout out to Japan.
Oh, yeah.
They got a solid race. I think the practice was more fun. Because a lot of varying things went on with the practice. Guys took too long to get out, blah, 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 this and that. And so there was all kinds of times for the people that were dressed up for their teams do all kinds of crazy shit. So it was really kind of neat. But congratulations to Max. And Sergio came in right behind him. This was a complete Red Bull. Here we go. Other guys did good. Like Carlos deserved to come in third.
Yep.
And Leclerc made his move. And Mercedes did their best, but...
Yeah, it looks like they're in trouble. At least for the next couple years.
Until they make that is 2025 when they do the new car change. Then we're going to see then. But before,
or 2026.
2026. Okay. But anyways, before I go, we leave on this note because Max is such a dominator. He's going to be in James Bond movies as a villain, I swear. In any event, you know one of the things that creeps into everything in life, and it drives me nuts, and sometimes my wife wins with this argument, is that there's a bit of a TMZ element in Formula One that I'm not liking. Like, where are these guys racing next year? Like, they're on different teams right now, already talking about next year's teams, and it's becoming a drama. It's blowing my mind. Like, I can't conceive that because I guess.
Well, it's always been like this.
But this is different. You don't know if Crosby's playing on your team next year.
Well, I'm saying F1, it's always been like this.
Yeah, that's why it's new to me. It's new to me, and now it comes up like you're Carlos Sainz. He's starting to be vocal about the whole situation. And you're looking over and go, that guy's a great driver. What do you mean? Where's he's not going to be driving next week? And Ricardo has been now?
Well, I think he's probably going to race like at least 1 year with Mercedes, and then after that he can just see where things go after the regulation changes.
So
whether he can go to Audi or...
When are they going to make this decision? Are they just going to keep it high drama for the rest of the year? Because for a moment
Well, that's up to Sainz and the teams.
That's true. But I heard him already talking about it. I've seen him do an interview. I'm watching my YouTube Formula One thing. And he came on and he basically said, and I said, does this sound like the Housewives of Formula One? Like, what's going on here? It was just so weird to hear. Like, you never hear Crosby say, well, when next year McKinnon and I get together, we're going to kick the shit out of everybody. No,
never.
You never. But these guys talk like that. It's you know what I mean? It's adapting to the lexicon of Formula One is what it is. But I find it just, wow. TMZ's right there.
Euro TMZ or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Sebastian Vettel potentially making a comeback in F1.
Very interesting.
Nothing close to confirmed or whatever, but he has expressed interest, and he is talking with Toto Wolff and Mercedes.
Okay, so let's take this. What was I just saying about the TMZ factor and creating the drama? That's part two.
Yeah.
Like, this guy just rose from whatever, and he's I went and researched him, 4-time champion. This guy's like last week's newspaper. This guy's a serious player in the game if he wants back in. I completely don't understand why he left.
I think he was just done. Like, he spent those years with Ferrari where everything fell apart, and then he went to Aston Martin where I think he was sold on them being a more competitive team than they were, but meanwhile, they still kind of had to rebuild. So I think he was just kind of done from that regard. But he will be racing in Le Mans, I believe, next year. So
who, Carlos?
Vettel.
Vettel, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. That's what they said. No matter what, he'll be doing that just to keep his feet warm or whatever the case may be. I don't understand it.
He's just one of those guys that just loves motor racing.
Oh, obviously, But I'm finding that interesting because out of nowhere, and the racing is done, and the biggest part of the thing is the whole race.
Yep.
Red Bull's kicking the hell out of everybody, but they're staying in the front page. I think it's like stealing a page from NFL, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just keep yourselves in the news, baby. And I'm going to tell you this much. If TSN decides to switch more shit over to TSN Plus and think I'm going to start paying for that, I'm going to get pissed.
Why would they switch over to TSN Plus?
Nothing yet, but they're talking about now you can get there's the in. It's just that's how they always start you. Do you want to see an in-car?
Oh.
Do you want to see this? Then you want to see that. Then the next thing you know, they keep taking it off the main.
At that point, I think I would just subscribe to the F1 thing themselves.
Oh, yeah, that's what I would do too. Good point. We'll make it there. Congratulations, Max. We're in your corner, buddy.
Also, Australia, it's announced that they will be the season opener again next year, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
And Liberty Media, who owns F1, will be acquiring MotoGP, which is essentially F1 for motorcycles.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, but I just thought it's like a what would you call it? Building a monopoly? Is that
building? I would say, building a portfolio of kind of like big motorsports brands, I guess.
Oh, big. Yeah, that's. You see, the thing is, the fun thing about all of this, about when you're watching stuff like this, is how would you put it? The money that moves to create these monster organizations that that make us go to TSM Plus, to make us do this, to make us do that. Very interesting. But, I mean, look, we're loving the competition, right? A lot of people, I don't watch biking myself, but I worked with 2 or 3 guys at bike magazines all the time coming in on their bikes, and they would talk about that, but that's way out.
MotoGP is cool. I haven't gotten too much into it, but it's insane.
Very much so, especially on that level. Okay, I like that.
One thing that we do not like is how TFC's been playing recently. 2-game losing skid. Last weekend they lost 3-1 to Sporting KC. Osario scored the lone goal for TFC, and this weekend losing 4-0 at Vancouver.
I thought that might be a little bit of an issue because I was checking their records, and already the other teams are like even had better starts than our Toronto TFC. So this is a bit of a telltale sign, losing to a team like Vancouver 4-0. Because Vancouver, I think before the season started, would be previewed as a stronger team than TFC to start, right? However, with the start that we had and every season being a new journey, I thought perhaps maybe TFC was ready to make this big jump. Didn't look good.
No.
Didn't look good. I thought something might happen, but I didn't think not 4-0 happened. Do you know what I mean?
Bad results. Got to just move on, I guess. But
before we leave that, though, we do have we should be saying that things could change around there and how they operate a bit, because don't we have a new operating...
yes, new CEO of MLSE.
Yes. So, who is very hands-on? Keith Pelly is his name, I believe? Yeah, so I happened to hear him last week, was it on 2 shows? I think he talked on the TSN show and the Sportnet show, but he's a local.
Yeah.
Even though he's been away for a long time. So I think he's going to be a little bit more hands-on, which is good we want to win. We want on-field product to win. Now, some people ask him some Blue Jay questions, and I go, we'll talk about that later.
They don't own the Blue Jays, so.
And on that note, before we go on, I just want to say, Rogers will always control the Jays, don't you think?
100%. Why would they give that up?
Thank you. Okay.
We'll move this on to something you want to bring up, curling.
Well, the reason I want to bring it up is because it's such a great drinking sport. No, I'm joking. Totally.
Well, it is, but...
Okay, anyways, it's one of the sports that we seem to dominate on an international level.
Yes and no. Not as much as we used to, maybe.
But we're pretty good. Look at this year. For example, I wanted a big shout out to Rachel Holman, I believe her name. Mm-hmm. She also won in 2017, and she also won in 2018. So this is another win in the last few years. Her and her crew won the World Championship. However, our boys, Brad Gushu and the team from Newfoundland. Gushu, is that his name? And the team from Newfoundland, and Newfoundland never gets enough press. But
although Gushu does have an Olympic gold medal.
Yes, he does. But I thought they were going to win this too.
I thought so too.
But
lost to Sweden yesterday.
Yep. And so far, we did not bring a goal. But we're going to keep our eye on that, because anytime we have like when we bring up the tennis and when we bring up the other players around the golf or whatever's going on, anything that comes up on a national level that we feel that we're going to get a victory out of, we're going to shout out.
Absolutely.
You got it?
Keeping it on the national stage, got to shout out our Canadian women, the Hockey World Championship going on right now. Producer Jay working the tournament in Utica.
Jay, what's up? How you doing, bro? You should come around and see us. Tell us how we're doing.
Tonight will be the last round robin game for Canada, playing USA to determine first place in the group.
And where are they playing again?
Utica,
yeah. I was going to say Albany. Yeah, Utica. Yeah, that's still pretty close drive, I think, from here.
Yeah, that's like what, upstate New York, right?
Yeah, it's still upstate New York. It's like I think it's about the same distance as getting to Kingston, which is about 4 hours, right?
Yeah, 3 hours.
And then 3 hours. So if you cut the other way around the lake, I think you're going to get there. I don't know, but yeah, Utica. Jay, big shout out. Come and see us, bro.
And best of luck to our women.
Yes.
They've only conceded, I believe, 1 goal through 3 games, but of course the real test, first big test, will be tonight.
I think I'll be putting my eye on that game. Don't you think so?
Why not?
Yes.
Put it with some of the March Madness, some of the hockey, and of course our Toronto Blue Jays with our home opener tonight.
Our Toronto Blue Jays. We got a lot to talk about them today, but let's just get to...
we got a lot to talk about.
Okay, well, we will get to that later. That'll be a significant point when we get to the end of the show. But first, before we say anything, I just want to say that I'm really glad baseball's on. Again, because,
hell yeah.
We're just happy it's on there. I like how you get out. We're now 10 games in already, bro.
A little bit under what we were hoping for.
4-6, we said 5-5. 4-6 would be better, but I like the cool things like the
minus 17 run differential.
Oh, we'll get to that. Let's just look around the league that's already happened. For example, Atlanta's coming out of the blocks looking pretty good. They lose a starter. Strider, it looks like he's going to be out of their lineup. They're in trouble. Yankees, who we just lost 2 out of 3 to. Oh, they're a great powerhouse, aren't they? Yeah, great. Juan Soto can't catch fly ball. He's not ever going to be a Gold Glover. That's
Never.
what I'm thinking. Never going to be a Gold Glover.
He can hit his way out of a lot of problems, though.
Oh, yeah, and he's a solid defender, but a couple times he does those old move to the left, move to the right moves, and boom, it's whatever. But that's a surprise because I don't think the Yankees have that great of a pitching staff, and it proved it when our no-hit Jays scored 8 runs
you look around the league, and it's like, what team actually does have a great pitching staff, though? That's the thing.
None.
There you go.
None. Nobody.
And the Yankees are going to be able to hit their way out of a lot of problems because 1 through 9, all those guys can hit.
Okay, I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just looking at it this way. I'm pitching and defense. They wins baseball games. So I'm just saying that we got to see the Yankees firsthand right now, right? I'm not saying that their defense is any better than ours, for starters. When you look at the infield outfield, our outfield defense is definitely better than theirs. However, every time we go about doing something like that, we might have to hurt whatever little hitting we have by putting in a lineup that will produce some kind of defense. But we'll get to that in a second. Very happy for my Detroit Tigers for the start that they've had. Solid start. I'm very, very feeling sorry for the Miami Marlins, who last year made that huge jump to get into the playoffs, who are now having one of the worst starts in the history of baseball. What are they now, 1-9?
They lost their first 9 games to start the season.
Oh, that's just a kick in the head. And one more thing I want to point out is that I'm finding very interesting. I always say that a team that jumps up out of nowhere usually takes a step back. I know it's a very small sample size, but let's not say that the Arizona Diamondbacks were a fluke.
You're thinking so?
No, I'm saying I'm not going to say that anymore. I always say, maybe that's one of those teams that they got lucky one year, and the next year, let's see where they're going to go. I'm not.
They got a good core.
Yes, they do. And then picking up, they picked up another starter. Who did they just grab?
Montgomery.
Yes, Montgomery, which will go a long way to helping them because they're young. I watched them play a couple of games. They're a great team with Galen, Gurriel, Marino behind the plate. Their infield's pretty solid, but like everybody else, their bullpen may be a little bit lacking. So do you hit your way out of it? Is that going to be the theory? Or maybe that's
maybe acquire a couple arms. That's always a possibility.
Or maybe that's ultimately the name of the show. Can we hit our way out of this?
Can we hit our way out of this?
Because most of the time around the league, and it's funny too because the Dodgers looking like they're just going to take the season and wait till they get to the playoffs. Which is another theory I'm finding, which is kind of true. It's harder to win in baseball now because they increase the amount of playoffs. So the opportunity for a team to fluke through in a 2-game series or a 3-game series is highly more likely than, say, 20 years ago when you just won your 100 games and went forward. So it's not a foregone conclusion that the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to the World Series, but it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win 100 games.
Yeah, and their division.
You know what I mean? That's okay. I think the other teams with money are maybe a bit of a fraud. San Francisco, I thought, would start a little better. San Diego's all over the board, but it's the same thing as everybody else. When you get down to their 4th and 5th starter, I think I seen your name on one of those days. Like, oh, Milani, you're pitching tomorrow? Because that pitching is that weak, which gets me back to my other argument about don't expand anymore. You know what I
don't
mean?
think baseball is looking to expand.
Like
I haven't heard that around them.
Yeah, good, because pitching is weak. Look at yesterday. We know the Yankees can't pitch either. What was the score? 9-2 at one point? What was the final score?
What about Saturday? It was 9-8 the final.
I mean, yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A 9-8. And I'm going to say this because that's all we'll talk about the rest of baseball. But now we'll get to the meat and potatoes of everything is home opener night in Toronto.
Yes.
Sold out against the Seattle Mariners, correct?
As you'd expect.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to my first game next Tuesday, I believe, against the Yankees.
And thank God Barrios is getting the opportunity to get the start, right? It's Barrios, right?
As he deserves to be.
Oh, 100%. He's been, I think the first 3 starters have been very good to adequate. Bassett is the guy I told you, bro, he's a head case. You see when Bichette dropped the ball? Gave up a grand slam. Did you see the other day when he walked a couple guys, he got all nervous with Judge, served up a bad one. Next, it's 4 2/3, and he had to go sit down because he was getting the shakes or some shit.
He's not an ace.
No, but he's a number 3. We got him in a number 2.
A good number 3.
He's solid number 3. If he gives us another 2, if he gives us last year, I'll shut the front door.
Yeah, hell
okay,
yeah. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about that.
I'm not sure if we're going to get last year. He is 35.
I mean, you were calling him a head case early last season, too, so we'll see.
That's right. And I still think that he you know what it is? I'm not saying he's a head case. He's one of those guys that he thinks everything's got to be perfect. Like if he stubs his toe or breaks a shoelace, oh my God, starts panicking. You see his whole demeanor changes. Those kind of guys, you know what? You got to be the guy that when you give up the home run, like Gosman had a rough outing. Okay.
Very rough.
Okay. But you know what he was going? Next batter. Not his demeanor, his way that he...
Yeah, you don't know if he's up 5 or down 5 the way he pitches.
Exactly. I want that guy. I don't want the guy that I know exactly what's going on with him. And I just go, please, can you help me out here? And aren't you worried about our infield defense?
I'm worried about a lot of things about this team.
Just give me 3.
Hitting, number 1.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. 3 things beside hitting, because we know we're not going to be doing a lot of hitting. Brutal, don't you think?
Yeah. Awful.
I'm worried a little bit about our defense in this way. In order to generate some offense, we had to put Justin Turner at third base. He's adequate.
He hasn't looked bad.
No, but 2 balls that were hitting foul territory that Chapman would have.
That's true. He would have caught.
He would have eaten them up. Turner was looking a little bit like an auger out there. He was spinning around, going down, but he didn't know what he was doing. And no disrespect to Turner, because first of all, we didn't hire him to be a regular third baseman.
No, we did not.
And he's been the most solid guy in the team coming out of the blocks with our 2 other guys, Clement and Schneider. Those 3 are our most solid players, I would say, as in our first 10 game span, don't you think?
Yeah.
And 2 of them hardly even starting.
I don't know. The way this team is assembled, it's like we use the term Lego team a lot, but it's like it's the dark side of that in a way.
Oh.
Where it's like you're desperately calling out for that 2x4. It's like, where is it? Where is it?
Yes, exactly. And that's what makes me a little bit... I'm not going to say that I'm totally... Because it is only 10 games. And look at this. This Green guy could be a closer.
Yeah.
He stole him, and now he got his arm back. He had to take a year off and rehab, and he's got him there.
Yeah.
The bullpen has been relatively solid. Like, look at yesterday.
Despite being down a couple guys.
Yep. Buddy got knocked around. But when our bullpen came in, we seemed to be closing it down. And we've got Swanson and Romero to be coming back. Romano by the beginning of May, right?
Yeah.
They're both throwing. I'm hearing it's going to be even less. Even though you're going to hear it here first, I think Romano may be past his best before date, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. Kimball's looking good in Baltimore, and I thought maybe he's going to be past his best before.
I thought he was done like 3 years ago.
And he's getting outs. You know, I seen him the other night in Baltimore. He's getting out. So if they're saying,
I remember last year though, his numbers looked pretty inflated.
I thought so too. But so far I've seen him in Baltimore pitch twice, and he's been solid.
We'll see how it goes. It's a long season. The
guy that's caught me off guard so far is the boy Hader in Houston, and our boy Schneider catching one off late. That caught me off guard. And the other night in the other game, he gave up a double late in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't a blown save because it was a situation I think it was tied or something, but he did give up a late hit at the wrong time. But like you say, it's only 10 games. The season is only started. We're going to, at the end of the show, we'll get back to it, but I don't think we need to say much more about baseball until we get to our baseball show. Unless you got a few items.
I just want to say it's just sad how real our prediction has been coming true, even though we just fell a little bit short of it.
I'm just saying 10 games, that's all I'm going to say. And I was texting you a moment, I'd say, hey, we're 3-4. Hey, we're 4-4. We got to go to this school of thought, okay?
But let's win a series, though. Come on.
Okay, but I'm going to say let's put this world of thought, and I'm going to bring this to the house that happens because when I was young, and first he was a Cincinnati Red manager. I think he's one of the greatest managers of all time. Cincinnati fired him. He ended up going to Detroit. We won the World Series in '84. Okay, but in any event, what he used to say all the time is, you don't know how good your team is. And I said this last year, do you win 20 before you lose 20? That's what we got to look for with the Toronto Blue Jays. Are they going to lose 20 before they win 20? So we're already up to 6 losses. So we got a little home opener here. That's a tough start to go 10 on the road.
Sure.
Let's hope we're a little bit more fan-friendly tonight and we get through this. And there's plenty of opportunity for the team to make adjustments and pick some people up as long as we have pitching and defense. And guess what? I'm not sure if we have a vast everyday supply of both of those.
No.
That's what scares me. Okay.
Also, the Jays were the first team since 1901 to be no hit and 1 hit in their first 7 games.
Little statistics that I don't like to hear. Okay.
No kidding.
Just saying, that was just that. Yeah, no, that just, when I heard that, I went, whoa. That's how we stole the game from Houston.
Yeah.
Because we really should be 3-7.
Sure.
But we'll take it. You know what I mean?
the Cabrera suspension. Do you want to talk about that now or save it for next week?
No. I think they dropped it a game.
Yeah, they appealed it, and it dropped from 3 to 2 games.
And he's back already. He served the 2 games, so I'm glad I'm getting him. I thought, you know what? That's an interesting... See, and we're going to talk about that later when we talk about other sports, when they're talking about violence and player safety. If you just saying. In any event, he was an aggressor. I think the other guy mouthed off so much and got his goat.
Sure.
Because Buddy there, he was the one that instigated the original bullshit, not Cabrera.
Sure.
And Cabrera said, okay, I'm going to answer, like some guys do. You know, you're going to push me. Like, he pushed him in a different way, and Cabrera did the obvious on camera, go sit down 2 games. That's how I looked at it. Guy can pitch, though.
Absolutely. I like him.
I like him, too. So I'm glad those 2 games are over.
And I guess one last piece for baseball. Some unfortunate news for the people of Oakland. They will be moving next year from Oakland to Sacramento for 3 years before moving to Las Vegas. I hear that they have already trademarked the Sacramento A's name, so I guess they're going to be called that temporarily.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And I think they should be the A's wherever they go, just to remember the legacy.
Well, they're never going to change the name the A's because they've had that since like 1901.
1909.
1901, the Philadelphia A's and the Kansas City A's.
Yes.
But either way, sad day for the people of Oakland. All their teams are going to be gone.
You know, the thing to say about that, and we're not that type of show, but it's socioeconomic environment that changes in society can affect your city if it's not done correct politically. And the most glaring example is beloved Oakland. I grew up, look at Oakland A's, Oakland Raiders. Come on, Golden State Warriors. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those are all brand.
Oakland Golden Seals.
Oh, yeah, the Golden, the Golden, was it?
California Golden Seals or whatever.
Golden Seals, maybe the second ugliest uniform ever. We're just
with the white skates,
which just goes to show you some color motifs look good in hockey, but they might not look good in basketball. Some might look in basketball, might not look so good in hockey.
I would just say the white skates would never be a good look in hockey, but
no.
It's neither here nor there. We'll take it from America's pastime to America's monolith, the NFL. But first, we got to shout out Jake Bates with his excellent 64-yard field goal to win the game from Michigan, Michigan over St. Louis in the UFL.
Okay.
What a kick.
Oh, yeah, and they iced him.
Yeah.
And he did it again.
Still made it.
And guess what? He kicked another one this weekend. He kicks the 60-yarder again this weekend. Oh, by the way, he's going to play for the Detroit Lions.
Oh.
You heard it here first.
Okay, not just the NFL, the Detroit Lions.
Because we need a kicker. But here's what team's he playing for?
Michigan.
Okay, so guess who kind of opened the door for him? Like, the NFL teams are watching these guys.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so they know what's going on. All right? So to make a long story short, already the word around the campfire is freaking the Detroit guy put a cone of silence over this guy already. Now, I'm just thinking that it could just be because it's the Michigan Panther angle. And if he ends up kicking for Houston or Carolina next year, whatever. But he's going to be kicking next year for somebody, don't you think? You know
I agree.
You know what I mean? Especially when they iced him.
That's crazy.
And they came back and he boots it again. And it had leg. It still had leg on it, you know? God, unbelievable. Bates, his name, right? Jordan Bates? Jason Bates?
Jake Bates.
Jake Bates, yes. Jake, big shout out here from the house that happens. 100%.
But then we have also news on how much the hip drop hit will be, the penalty. It's going to be a 15-yarder plus an automatic first down.
Okay, so we had a lot of talk about that last week, and that talk's not going to go away. This is going to be
No, that's going to drag on all season.
Oh, of course it is, because it's going to be when it's going to be called and why. So what it's going to be, in my belief, is you better make it defined in the first 4 games of the year. Like,
I think they will.
They better, because you can't make that decision in freaking the AFC Championship game. That's the scary part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is a referee subjective. This is like pass interference. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, shifting your weight, fooling physics. This could get interesting. You know what I'm saying, bro?
We'll see. It's going to be a tough job, but
I heard that
we'll
the
see.
referees are convening to have a thing this summer, and there's been a push by the NFLPA to make all the referees full-time so that they'll work all year round.
I agree.
And 100%, because now as they are sitting here, they won't be on the golf course all the time or working a second job. I can't believe
the
they're
part-time
working a
refs
second
thing
job.
never made sense for me.
But
in the NFL of all leagues.
Of course.
Like, doesn't the NHL have full-time refs?
They have full-time referees, baseball full-time,
and then NHL's the worst at this shit, and somehow they got this right before the NFL. Come on.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So I think they make enough money where they don't have to work the rest of the year, I'm sure.
I would hope.
I would think so too, coming from the monolith. However, they're not like, are they unionized even? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because the way that they're not full-time or however.
Or I don't know, maybe they are. I don't know.
Well, we'll look into it, but I agree with you. Like that, let's put them into school, make the decisions in the first month, and then the first month you say, okay, we made a mistake, we got to change it again, because sometimes the NFL's done that. They've tweaked the rules in mid-season when they've had enough stuff on film to say this is ridiculous. But speaking of...
And they are in a union.
Oh, they are in a union, yes. So, but they're a part-time union.
Part-time union, yes.
And what do they make? I still think they make $100,000 a year, but I think you make so much a game. That's why they want to get the guys that are better to get into playoffs, because that's where you make your bonus money. I believe. I could be right. I could be wrong. But I know it goes something like that. Like if you're a guy that's bloated.
$12,000 a game.
$12,000 a game. Okay, so, and they all usually do, every ref does at least 10 games. So that's $100,000 a year salary, maybe more. Good for them.
Good for them. It's a tough job.
Every refereeing is tough.
Agreed.
Come on, it doesn't mean
Agreed.
No matter what sport that you're in. It's just that we get to know you when you screw up, which gets to be such a drag. I want to ask you a little question. Would we be caring about Rashid Rice if he didn't lease a Lamborghini?
Well, he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so guess what else? He leased a Lamborghini. Did you know he leased a Lamborghini?
Well, now I do, after all this news.
Everybody knows. TMZ knows that he...
Well, they're first to everything.
Oh, I shouldn't even bring them up. It just blows me away how they get in on everything, eh?
Well, I had a term for them in our pre-show meeting.
Oh, yes, agreed.
I believe I compared them to insects.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable. But I'm often fascinated with that. Like, okay, we just had a pretty crazy accident down the street at my house, down by Eglinton and Martin Grove. Dumbass people racing. I'm not sure it even made the news. One of the cars got split up pretty good. Hopefully. Nobody died. That's the main thing. If someone died, it would have been on the news for sure. So, but that never made the news. Rashid Rice was probably doing the same thing as that guy. But everyone knows him now. Everyone knows he leased a Lamborghini with the boys. I think he went by a weed shop before he rented the car. Allegedly, I'm not saying. The reason I'm bringing it up is I just think that anytime that you're an athlete, please tie your shoes tighter. Your career is you're ultimately short. You came out of nowhere. Like you came out of nowhere to be a star, because Kansas City had a little bit of problem with their receiving core. Guys dropping passes, everyone knew, and this kid came up because Patrick Mahomes made this guy make money, okay? Which will lead me into something we want to talk about anyway, is the fact that Stephon Diggs has left Buffalo.
Yes, he has been traded to the Houston Texans, and Houston just keeps looking better and better by the day.
I'll get to them in a second. I'm just wondering if the door caught his ass before he got out.
Oh.
I'm wondering how.
Well, we all know the rumors of some things behind the scenes there in Buffalo. Not exactly people getting along there with Mr. Diggs. Okay. And vice versa.
Okay, but still $30 million cap hit they're taking.
Sure.
But that's with the $40 million advance. So the new $40 million increase in the cap hit, and they dropped a bunch of guys. Buffalo's playing the game very close to the vest, because as we were talking about, we didn't know who Rashid Rice was last year, and they did lose Gabe Davis. How come quarterbacks can make wide receivers? And I think Josh Allen's a great one. So I think they kept their O-line intact, basically. The one thing they did, Buffalo, kept their O-line intact, and they got Josh Allen. So that puts them ahead of most teams in the league right off the back. So, and this is one of the best wide receiver classes they've set in many, many years. So you know they're going to draft a wide receiver. And not only that,
probably more than one.
Okay, and what's his name? Being the general manager was on a couple shows this week, and he was very coy about what he was going to do. But their history says if they're in the 20th spot, and all of a sudden the guy at 18, the guy they want, and the 18th pick is there, they've been known to make those incremental moves. They're not going to give you 2 draft choices to jump 10 spaces, because he doesn't believe in that because of the gamble of the draft.
Right.
But shifting 2 places to give up a 3rd round next year to get a guy that is on your board.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Sure, and Buffalo's going to do that, because I hope Buffalo stays competitive. I want Josh Allen to win a Super Bowl. I love the guy. He's a great football player. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
You know, one other thing I wanted to say about the monolith, too, is these guys are greedy, too, aren't they?
Aren't they all?
No, nobody's as greedy as football. You know where I'm going with this, right?
I don't know if I do.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Wednesday football's back.
Next year, in the 2024 football season in America, They will play football on every day of the week except Tuesday. They will hit every day. That's not called a little bit of hubris?
Oh, I mean, they're doing it because they can.
What do you think they're saying to the NBA?
They're giving them one of these.
You think?
Yeah.
Just think that people used to always say that the opening of the NBA season is really not until Christmas. Whoops.
Oops. Yeah.
Whoops. I don't know.
Gonna have to wait till after the Super Bowl now.
I guess that's what's going to have to work. You know what I mean? And crashing into March Madness, we'll get to in a minute. But how those seasons got all co-opted and bent a bit, because you got to figure now, when you think about it, because it's pushed baseball. Baseball's done a really weird thing too. When you think of some of those dates, like this day in history, like playoffs are still going, and it was the Super Bowl already been done 20 years ago or whatever. So football is just like what is that thing, that bug that can't stop eating?
Yeah.
Just keeps eating. You got to keep feeding. It's going to keep eating it anyway, right? Keep eating it anyway. It's just crazy. And watching all this, I still haven't found that. During the course of the week, I thought since we had an extra day off, I did go looking for the mock draft expert. I still haven't found the guy.
What do you mean? You're looking at one right here.
Oh, I think you've got a reasonable take on what's going to happen in the first round, but perhaps maybe I do too.
Absolutely.
I'm just how quarterback heavy. Okay, they say it's a wide receiver draft,
but there could be up to 6 quarterbacks going in the first round.
In the first 10.
Yeah, why not?
The two best athletes they say in the draft, if it had been like 20 years ago or something, before everything got too quarterback crazy, would have been Marvin Harrison and
I've heard people call him the best football prospect like people have ever seen.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he's in this draft. Okay,
and he's not going to go until like number 4 at the earliest.
At the earliest, he might even not. Maybe he might still be there at 8 or 9, depending on what Harbaugh's going to do. Because you got the alt guy from Notre Dame, who's this generational type. They say he's all pro already, and he hasn't got his uniform on.
Unbelievable.
You know what I'm saying? So why would you let this guy go by? Because you know why? Because they'll say he'll just be another Joe Thomas. And that's harsh, because Joe Thomas is one of the greatest linemen to ever play the game. But what did Cleveland do when they had him?
Yeah, well, that's a Cleveland problem, not a him problem.
Yeah, but so we'll never get to justify the fact that how good he is because he played on a team that couldn't get their shit together with a real quarterback. That's what's sad. But I'm taking, like, I'm willing to bet, as I'm going to be Cruz, self-proclaimed mock draft expert, says, if it gets to number 5 and Alt isn't taken, Harbaugh's taking him 100%. I'll bet my dog on it. You know what I mean? Like,
I would just bet he's going to go there anyways.
Well, because he's already got Ebert, and that's the way he look at his MO from way back 20 years when he started coaching to now. What does he do? He starts with O-line, and then he'll work.
That's how he did in San Fran.
Oh, exactly. What did he do with Michigan when he went there? And that's what he did with Hubert. You're not going to protect him, who's already got the bag. Come on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's one other thing in football I wanted to.
Draft is just a couple weeks away, by the way. Yeah. We should hype that up.
Oh, yeah, we definitely. Well, no, we don't have to hype it up. Just take a walk down the street. Everybody's talking to you about the draft. And then some. In any event, I'm totally fascinated by the fact that on any given day, you can turn on your television and the monolith can find a way to be in the news cycle. Blows my mind. Good, bad, or ugly.
Well, it's like hockey here in Canada, right?
Oh, yeah. It's comparison, but, I mean, hockey doesn't get that everywhere. But, like, yeah,
in Canada it does.
In Toronto it does, but that's the way it is. Anything else you want to shout out? I'm looking forward to the draft, though.
Me too.
Yeah, looking forward to this.
I love the little jingle or whatever that they play when the commissioner picks. So it should be a lot of fun. We will move this on to something that is wrapping up tonight, March Madness. Women's final was yesterday. Iowa, unfortunately, coming up just a little bit short. Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes.
Why is it unfortunate?
Well, because I was following the story. Hey, listen. Okay, congratulations to University of South Carolina. First of all,
thank you. Okay, now continue.
Okay, but a lot of people were watching for Caitlin Clark. Let's be real.
You're kidding. You're killing me. I got
the comments for the app that I was viewing it, or that I was kind of tracking the score on and whatever, were just awful. Just there's a lot of black versus white, as you can imagine.
Oh, that's the part I'm not getting. And you know what? The classiest move of the whole women's tournament was, look at, last year, Iowa's championship was upsetting South Carolina. Because South Carolina should have won 3 years in a row, 2 undefeated seasons. Like, this is a team of teams, okay? But what really I thought...
Powerhouse defense.
Yes. What really I thought, and I had her name written down. That's for the book I didn't bring. The coach of South Carolina, the women's coach. Mm-hmm. She was so thankful to her players. They won she's now won 3 national championships, so that puts her in that new league of coaches that are great of all time. But she took the time in her...
Dawn Staley.
Staley. Wonderful woman. She took the time in her press conference to thank Caitlin Clark for what she has done for the state of college basketball and to bringing so many eyes to the game, which is going to continue on to help the WNBA flourish even more. As opposed to a couple other coaches I've seen around that just freaking... I didn't hear the Connecticut coach saying too much. I didn't hear the LSU coach saying too much. I mean, but again, then someone said to me, well, it's easier for you to do when you win. I'm saying, no, class is class.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And I thought it was so amazing. And I even thought Caitlin Clark was great at the press conference because I'm telling you this, I watched the game. I watched more girls' college than I've done. I watched the boys incessantly. But South Carolina was winning this tournament. If you watch those were beasts.
Yeah.
You knew they were going to do it. And the fact that they got rid of, Iowa got the LSU monkey off your back, which was probably the better game. The LSU...
It was a more entertaining game,
game there. But you knew by halftime with that monumental steal off Caitlin Clark with the time going, because she could have made a shot to either tie the game or put them one up, wasn't it? And they got the steal, and then they went down the floor like that. And that girl, I think her name was Hodge, she was really one of the MVPs and the most girl in the big girl with the purple hair, I forget her name. She was a beast in the middle. But that girl set the tone because not only did she make three threes, people forget... After Caitlin Clark scored 18 in the first half, she only scored 12 for the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. And that girl put her down, that stole the ball off her, held her to 2 for 15 shooting. So
unbelievable.
Let's give credit where credit due. South Carolina was the better team. I was shocked that Iowa kept it that close till halftime. Honestly, I went upstairs to the wife and I said, Caitlin and that crew hanging on for dear life. Dude, you know what I mean? I'm going like they're hanging from the ceiling like this. Someone steps on their fingers, this is over. And congratulations, South Carolina Gamecocks.
Well, I mean, Iowa was just completely outmatched. Like, you look at that South Carolina team, like a few of those players are going to go to the WNBA. And on Iowa, like, besides Caitlin Clark, how many of them are really going to go to WNBA?
Mock draft top 15 and WNBA. I'm not an expert, but 3 South Carolina girls are going in the top 15, they're saying.
Wow.
3. That's what they're saying.
I mean, one of them's the obvious one.
Oh,
but
come on.
She's going top 10 for sure. Top 5, I think they're saying.
She could play for the Pistons, I believe. I'm not sure, but maybe she could play for the Pistons. I'm still hoping that Caitlin Clark takes the $5 million because I'm not a fan of Jay Williams. You know Jay Williams, he's the basketball analyst, big college guy. I'm not a big fan of Jay. We'd argue immediately. We got in the same room at the same time just because. Not because he went to Duke, because J.J. Redick went there too. Maybe I have a Duke issue.
I think you do.
Okay, well, anyways, we'll get to that later.
I bet you just loved Christian Laettner back in the day, too.
Stop it. Just stop it. Stop. When he made the Dream Team, I was like, oh, my God. I was one of those guys. What? What about Shaq? But that's a whole new ball game. Anyways, he brought up an interesting point, which she should do. A lot of people are saying if she decides to play, she's going to play against the men. So genetically speaking, she could get pushed around.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Or maybe she can shoot her way out of this. Isn't that the name of this show?
Sure. But, I mean, it's Big 3, so, like, it's 3-on-3. There's going to be a lot more open space.
Oh, 100%.
So I think there she'd be able to get away with it a lot more.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the Jay Williams this time where they offered her $5 million. A lot of people in Caitlin Clark's camp right now telling her what to do, and she's about to get enough money to get her dad, who's been with her every step of the way, great guy, a brand new truck or whatever he wants to buy, so to speak. However, Jay Williams put forth the proposition, which I think that she should take a stab at, is I want $7 million and a percentage of the gate.
Ooh. I mean, she's got that power.
Well, how many times are you going to have this power in your life? That's what they say. How many times? When you have leverage in life, you're supposed to use it, right? Isn't that what cock-sucking real estate agents do every day? They get a little leverage and they eat it? I didn't mean that. Sorry. Somebody. We like you, real estate agents, but
I have a buddy that's a real estate agent.
Sorry, buddy, I didn't mean it like that. He's probably a good one.
I'm sure he is.
There's good lawyers too. That's another story. Okay, but in any event, take the leverage. Why wouldn't she take the leverage?
Yeah.
She could take $7 million. I thought it was brilliant. Like, I'm no Jay Williams fan, but I know he's all about money and cash. Anytime he gets an argument, it gets back to everyone getting their bag, but which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But if I really think it's interesting that she would go for that. I think that would be an interesting prospect, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
And she's not gonna. She may never get this $5 or $7 million again. Like she's gonna probably get a bigger contract than usual for wherever she gets signed in the WNBA. But that's like money in your pocket, bro.
Sure.
How can you say that? And I really hope down that a lot of girls and Teresi, who's a great player and did some commentary, they've been making comments about they can't wait till.
I saw that. I was going to bring that up next.
Okay. Well, so what was that? Did you hear the comments?
Yeah. Which is like, oh, it's going to be different now. Oh, you're playing against professionals. It's like, I don't get why basketball players, because the same thing happened when LeBron came into the NBA, right? Whereas all these guys are like, oh, I don't know. It's a different game now. It's a different game now. Like you are lucky to have this person. They're growing your sport, and all you could do is like show that you're fucking jealous, basically.
Exactly.
I don't get that in basketball. Like hockey, complete opposite.
Oh, no.
It's the one thing hockey culture gets right.
Yes. But didn't that kind of alarm you? It
100%.
Not that it was the way, and it got brought up on one of the shows today. One of the lady commentators, and it wasn't Elle Duncan, but one of the ones of her ilk said, listen, we're saying that for competition, but sometimes the tone of the way you're saying you can't wait to get her in the league goes, you don't freaking kick the goose that's laying the golden eggs.
100%.
You know what I mean? Before your sentiment, like what you have there, what you're saying, Andrew, think about this before you said, like, I'm going to go get her, okay? Because that is your cash cow. She's helping to produce more pesos in your pocket. Why would you screw with that?
I don't get that. Like,
no, I've never, since I was a young guy, and like I was seeing in different sports growing up in different eras and different guys came in. Some guys failed miserably because of the pressure of trying to live up to that or failing because they were crushed by whatever. Doug Wickenheiser being a Montreal Canadian is prime one I could think. But no, man, welcome her. Welcome her. You know what I mean? Limousine her.
Like,
to
okay,
the
on the
stadium.
court, you don't have to be nice and fuzzy. Like, set the tone there.
No, and if you can shut her every night,
go for it. More power to you.
There you go. That's that.
But you're playing a PR game off the court, and you're doing such a bad job of it. It's alarming.
Yes, that's. I was very. When I heard some of the tone too, and I don't want to use the R word. But it was lingering. You could feel it. You could feel it in the air. You know what I mean? And this is another thing that we were trying to do when we emphasize different ways of how games are played and the difference in people is that the R word does come up. But here at the House That Happens, we're trying to say that shouldn't be a motivator or a thing that moves the needle. It should be the game itself and your athleticism and your ability to change it, rise up in the moment, and all those cliche things, the reason we watch it. So at the House That Happens, we cheering for you, Caitlin Clark, just like we're hoping that Angel Reese has a great career. The girl from LSU and the big girl at center, Mimosa, whatever her name is, at South Carolina.
Yeah, the Brazilian girl, yeah.
Yes, I hope that she brings in the league because they've got more of a face seeing them in the tournament. Now these faces are going to the NBA. It could be a transition in a way back in the day when Bird and John Magic showed up and started and took the league to the next level. And I hope that's the way because I will say this. Sometimes the pace and the action of the women's game will never touch the men's game naturally.
Absolutely.
However, the frenetic style of it at times creates an intensity that brings you to watching the game. Isn't that why we watch?
Absolutely.
Like there was a great intensity to the LSU Iowa game. By the 5-10 minutes into the second half of fourth quarter of the South Carolina Iowa game, it didn't work that way. But we were all there riveted because we were getting a competition that we look forward to, correct?
What'd you make of the pick called, the illegal screen called at the end of the UConn-Iowa game?
What's that?
The illegal screen.
And you know what? That was the other girl. She'll get her flowers next year. Paige.
Yeah, she's going back to college for one more year.
Yeah, because
Buckers,
because she's as good as. Trust me, people, she's probably as good as Caitlin Clark. Just the injury thing is taken away from her. I thought that was one of those ones where we go, reffing is good. The refs do a good job, don't they? What are you going to say, bro, to that?
Tough call. It by the book, that is an illegal screen.
By the book, yeah, but
I
haven't seen it called since. Did you see it called in this tournament yet so far? And you know what? What we got
tough for the UConn players.
Oh, you know what it is? And I don't even know how to go there, because then you got to bring up the word integrity. Okay, I can't do things that make you go That was one of those make you go moments.
Yeah.
But guess what? This is only April 2024. I'm going to say that's our first of the year. Do you think we'll get a dozen more before December 31st?
Oh, well, NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs are coming right up.
Geez. I think hockey are going to give us 2 or 3 right off the hop.
In the first round.
In the first
Yeah.
Anyways, we got the big game tonight.
Yes, and before we get off women's, LSU, Iowa, 12.3 million viewers for that game.
Amazing.
The ratings have not come out for the championship game yet, but I imagine...
It's close, but it's not going to be the same because that built-up rivalry from last year, all that stuff.
And it was an afternoon game yesterday, too, probably.
Yeah, but I still think they're going to hit the 10 million mark, which is great.
I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Congratulations to women's ball. Women's ball. Love the evolution of it because the quality of the game has increased. Which, you know, the only thing I think about it is that people forget about people like Cheryl Miller never...
Her story's pretty sad that way.
Yeah, like how it never progressed where she never got on here because people forget.
If her health was intact, she could have been the first star of the WNBA.
Oh, no doubt about it. But like the timing just didn't get her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, she kicked the shit out of Reggie every day.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? If she's kicking Reggie's ass, what's she going to do? And I've seen her play. I've seen her play at USC, and I've seen her play in the Olympics. Like, she was 1 in a million. But the evolution from her to Caitlin Clark is amazing. It's great for the sport, which brings us to tonight, which tells you if you had just gone total chalk in 2024 in women's and men's basketball, you make money.
Yeah.
You making money. These all number ones are kicking around. Iowa's number 1. LSU.
South Carolina number 1. UConn number 1, and Purdue.
What do we got to say about our Canadian boy?
One of the most dominant performances in tournament history.
He might get his ass kicked tonight.
He might get his ass kicked
tonight. I'm scared because he's got to play for our Olympic team. So I'm going to do this. What's his name? Is Mark, right?
Zach Edey.
I mean, Zach. Yeah, I should know that. My son's an EB. Okay, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to take him out one night, and I'm going to say, you're going to dance. Because the boy got to learn to move his feet. That's the only thing he's got to do. Like, he's not. I was watching him rewind him. You know, he made a rebound, made a step, and he fell completely off the court and almost into the scoring table while the play went on, and he ran back in. If you didn't notice that over the corner of your eye, so I rewound it. You know, me and the PVR rewind 3 times. Guy was pure clumsy. Tripped over his own feet, rolled over to the side, had to fall back in. If he gets his footwork down, he'll be an NBA player. Now, he's going to get drafted in the NBA anyway.
First round? That's the question.
Last player in the first round. But this is not a big draft. But there's 5 or 6 guys out there. The kid in Alabama that shoots, he's going to be a first rounder. That Hodge kid, he's going to make it. All right. A couple of those guys on Connecticut are going to go.
Yep.
The guy in Duke's going to go, and the guy in North Carolina. Oh, and 2 of the guys on Kentucky. They're going to go. So all the top 10. Now, we should get their names down, but I will do that before the draft because I will predict. But
still a couple months away.
Yeah, definitely. But there's some NBA talent here, but I think there is definitely 7, 8 guys that I would take before
Zach Edey.
But what if he does learn how to move his feet?
Oh, then he could be one of the biggest steals.
Oh, forever. He's got the little hook. He can play some defense, and he knows how to screen. So that's a lot for a big man. And he's 7'4".
Yeah.
Okay,
you can't teach 7'4".
No, you can't. No, you can't. And
but if you can get him to work on his footwork, man.
That's the only thing. And that, you know, it's going to be a drag because I watched it a lot last summer, and a lot of people didn't. When we qualified for the Olympics last year, he was on the team, okay? He could barely get on the court.
Yeah.
Barely could get on the court. So, but I
don't remember him playing that much in that tournament.
A couple times. And one time he came in, he got like 3 fouls in like 6 minutes because guys are making moves and just like embarrassing him. But I've noticed that his footwork has improved dramatically since last season. I've noticed that his side to side, his court awareness, 2-time college player of the year. You're doing something right.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So good luck to him tonight, but I don't see him winning.
No, UConn, the team he's going up against, 11 tournament wins in a row now. It's going to be one hell of a hill to climb, but we'll be both watching that tonight, I'm sure.
Okay, but let's take it one step further before we go. These guys have won by almost 15 points on an average. I've never seen this. I'm a junkie of this. I've been watching this people over 40 years. I've been watching, okay, let's say I'd be close to 45 now. My first time I watched the tournament, I was sad because Michigan got beat by the last undefeated team of all time when I was in high school, and that was Indiana beat Michigan in the final. Then just 2 years later, we had Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in the final, and we're basically all the same age. So I've been watching the tournament since then. I've seen teams dominate. I've never seen a team dominate on this level. This is like, even though Alabama scrapped, finally, about the 8-minute mark of the second half, Connecticut just warmed down. What did they win by? 15 anyway. And that was a dogfight till I was looking at the clock when finally when North Carolina went up by 9. I think it was 11-0 something, almost 12 minutes left in the second half. Up until then, it would have been a dogfight. You know what I mean? God bless Alabama. What are you calling tonight? Will they cover the spread?
Oh, what is the spread?
I think it's 8.5. It's modest. Because they got him beat, Zach in the middle.
6.5.
6.5. So I'm taking Connecticut.
Yeah, I think Connecticut covers the spread.
If Purdue does win this, I do remember this after with Joe Barry Carroll. I remember as a kid. I do remember 1980 before all that took off. Purdue was in a championship game. I thought they made one Final Four, but it was only 3 Elite Eights. They've never been here before. So good luck. I hope everybody enjoys it. Brady, I'll see you. I'll be in the door. I should be home by 8:30 if I can get this closed down by then.
We'll get there.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Enjoying the show.
We'll take it from college basketball to professional basketball with the NBA. The Toronto Raptors break their horrendous losing streak. They keep from being the worst, or from getting the worst losing streak in franchise history, thankfully, upsetting Milwaukee of all teams on the road.
That was a weird game.
No kidding.
Okay, that just lets you know that's why we're not trusting Milwaukee. You know what I mean?
don't. I still don't.
Okay, I gotta take a quick look here because we had our power ratings, which are going to be coming up. I had my getting ready for our power rankings, and that game altered my thinking, especially at home. You know what I mean? That's what got me weirded out because Milwaukee's no shoe-in to go to no conference final or anything yet. Even though the West is a little bit weird. I want to thank the Toronto Raptors for just having the moxie to go out there and fighting because this team's a mess. Scotty's gone. They're in a bit of a tank. Darko's coaching his ass off because he doesn't believe in like just mailing it in. I know Ujiri's not a big mail it in guy too, but sometimes the lineup's been weird. And what are you going to do? But with Quickly and Barrett back, they played solid. I'm telling you, I'm predicting this now to all the naysayers. The Raptors aren't as far away as you believe they are. They just got to start in training camp, circle the wagons, and go from there. We don't know what we're going to get in free agency. We got cap space, and we got a couple picks in the draft. So we'll just have to wait and see where it's going to go there.
Absolutely.
What's fascinating me still, you know about this league is, right?
What?
The West.
Oh, yes.
And the play-in.
Although the 10 teams in the playoff play-in are guaranteed now.
Oh, yeah. Houston made it. Congratulations, Dylan Brooks, our Canadian boy.
Yep.
Fred VanVleet, the rookie, and the adulterous coach. They all did great, and I thought they'd give it a playoff shot. I said at the beginning of the season they would be one of the surprise teams in the league. They didn't quite get there. But you don't think people are going to be thinking about them at the beginning of next year?
Oh, definitely setting the table for next year quite nicely. Although the West isn't going to get any easier.
Oh, definitely not. Which brings us to the age-old question. Suddenly it looks like, I don't know if the Lakers are, and I hate it because you always got to bring up the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. You know, if you don't, like, you're not talking basketball. But the Lakers seem to be coming out of that sandbagging mode and suddenly playing some ball. So, and I wonder if they're looking up to say, who do we want to play? What are those rookie teams? Do we want Minnesota or do we want OKC? You know what I mean? Like, and there's whispers. So you know what I'm really hoping? I hope they get what they want and Ant-Man or Shea kicks the shit out of those and sends them home. That's what I'm doing. So LeBron, I ain't cheering for you. AD, I ain't cheering for you. You got Dinwiddie. That was huge. And I told everybody, Dinwiddie was a huge pickup on him both ends of the court. But look at the standings right now. And don't look at the bottom. Who's going to play who? Is there anything guaranteed except for Denver? And the Clippers, what are they doing?
Nobody knows.
Oh, they sat down. Kawhi won 2 games. I went, what?
Why not?
Well, yeah, I understand. And you know what? Kawhi's sitting games. Kawhi's played more games this season than he's played in 10.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Paul George is being Paul George. You know our old guy, which I never agreed for that trade. I never agreed that we should have traded Norm Powell for Gary Trent Jr. I never liked that trade. Do you know that Norm Powell's on the verge of becoming Sixth Man of the Year?
Yeah, I did know that.
He's going to be Sixth Man of the Year. So
it's tough. Tough for us Raptors fans.
Oh, yeah, I loved him, and he can still shoot the three. It's just going to be like, we could talk basketball all night right now, where it's going to go, who's going to do what. And it's still, Minnesota is still fighting Denver because they're saying they want to be number one.
Yep.
Which is just absolutely crazy.
Anthony Edwards tearing it up.
You know, and he's still not getting enough MVP love. Even though we've seen here at the house, we've already sent in our vote, and we're voting for the Joker. I'm not taking that away now. No,
but he's on our ballot, I think.
100%. He's probably our guy. But I think that he should get more love. Like, I think he's even eclipsed Shea a bit.
At this point, yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that Shea's fallen off or anything. It's just that he's had more of those dramatic games to help him win, where OKC's had more team effort, so to speak. Because Shea's not afraid to move the ball around. But Anthony's doing it without Cat.
Yep.
Which makes a big difference. However, all they'll talk about Wembanyama and his defensive prowess, Rudy Gobert is going to win Defensive Player of the Year again. Like, he's like his back end on there for keeping Minnesota is unbelievable. One of the reasons they're not at the top, got a bunch of scrappy guys and a bunch of guys that can shoot threes, but they're not beating Denver.
No.
They're not beating Denver.
I don't think many teams could beat Denver.
No.
Also, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up that Joel Embiid is returned back to action for this Philadelphia 76ers. Desperate move, or?
Embiid said he could play. What did he come back? 24, 8, and 9, was it?
Yeah.
Or 24, 8, and 6? And they won? If he is healthy, he has changed the whole trajectory of the playoffs. So guess what, Boston? You better be careful. You might get Embiid in the first round.
That's true.
I doubt it. I think that with Embiid back, because how many games has he had a sixth place?
Just one game.
So I think if they run the table, they're saying they could end up being a sixth. You know?
Do you think they're going to run the table, though?
I think that they're going to try to go for the sixth, because why do you want to do the play-in? That's extra games.
They only have 3 games left. All at home, though.
Yes.
And Pistons, Magic, Nets. So they could win.
All 3.
They could win all 3, at the very least 2.
Well, I'm going to say that they're going to win all 3, and I think that who's up there with them that's got a tougher schedule that might fall back. I'm not sure who it is. I had that on my phone. Serge, bring back the Wi-Fi, please. That's the only thing wrong with Shuey's.
I know Indiana, who's above them, doesn't have the toughest schedule in the world either. So
Indiana is going to be maybe the team that gets upset in the first round, because if you don't play defense, go home.
I agree.
And they're just pathetic. Oh, I'm really happy that some of those 150 to 140 games have come down lately. You know what
Get
I
ready
mean?
for playoffs.
Well, you know what there is? A word around the campfires. They're starting to talk about what I've been bitching about the last 2 years. They're shooting too many threes. They showed a graphic. Do you know that since Steph Curry's come into the league, you know what the percentage? I think we talked about this last week. The percentage in shooting threes has gone up, what, a 40-some percent?
Yep.
It's insane. Like, who do they think they are? They're not, you're me. You're not Steph Curry. Too many ugly games, which, you know what I mean? 25-point lead is the only safe lead in the NBA now. Not 20. 25. Back in the day, you're up by 20, you pretty well got this game in hand. 25 now. You need 25 points to say it's safe in the NBA, which says 2 things. Either people are shooting too many threes or you can't play D.
Or both.
All of the above.
Anything else you want to bring up before power rankings?
Just that everybody's going to get fooled once again by all the shenanigans that the NBA pulled all season. They sat more guys down than you realize with that play-in tournament. When we get to the end, there was still a serious amount of load management. There were still some cities got burned by players like LeBron or Steph sitting. So when we get to the end of the season, they're going to they've quietly swept this under the table so that they can have this frenetic playoffs that we're about to see, especially in the first round. And everyone's going to see these mad games, especially if you get the Lakers and Golden State in the play-in. The ratings shot already.
Oh, they're going to go off the charts.
The NBA is setting it up. So sometimes I'm not saying the man behind the curtain is making the schedule. I'm saying the man behind the curtain's got a lot to do with the schedule, okay?
Yeah.
So don't be fooled. I know we're going to, and this is what it sometimes drives me nuts about sports is, how many of those games that I told you during the season I text you, 2 top teams in the league, losing by 30. Oh, my God. 2 top teams in the league, losing by 40. Okay, and now all of a sudden we're going to get this great playoff Unless we get the 7th game of Milwaukee-Boston again.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? They're gonna wash it all over with some great games because these players got to play for keeps now, especially in the play-in round. You know what I mean? My sleeper is this, and you're gonna say we'll get to the power rankings now, but one team I do not want to play for 7 games, and you're gonna be shocked I say this. It was Dallas Mavericks.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I don't like to say that. You know my pedigree. I don't like to say that. Have you seen them lately?
They've been very, very, very good.
Scary good. Scary. And they got big balls. If the game's within 5 coming down the stretch, whoo. And I'm not saying no names. Okay, so I don't have to say the names, do I? I don't want to incriminate myself.
Rhymes with Puka Doncic.
Yeah, whatever. Kyrie's ridiculous. We'll see when we get to the playoffs. Why don't we give you our power ratings first?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
Number 5. You don't say it's the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow. I had them honorable mention. Your number 5 is Dallas Mavericks. I'm impressed.
Number 4, the OKC Thunder.
Got you.
Number 3, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
Number 2, the Boston Celtics.
Yep.
And still number 1, what I'm predicting is going to be the back-to-back champions, the Denver Nuggets.
Our list is relatively close, except that I would take out the Mavericks and I put in the Clippers. And I had them too.
They were my number 6, basically.
Yeah, well, Dallas was my honorable mention, or they were definitely in there. Hence the reason I give you that little hyperbole about them scaring me. But number 4, I had OKC. I had number 3 at the Timberwolves. Now, I made this list for Saturday's show. I would adjust that today that they might even be number 2 because of the Nuggets. But I might even put Nuggets at the top because I have the Celtics at the top. But the thing about the Celtics is kind of confusing me right now is they've guaranteed so much. We don't know what Celtics we're getting. Like, how hard are they really trying? They've blown a couple of leads lately. They've won with their main guys sitting down. So are they just bandwagoning, waiting to get the playoffs? I don't know, which is a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially on a team that shoots too many threes. You know, Celtics shoot. We're a team that plays defense and
They shoot a lot.
They shoot, yeah, and they go, well, that's the reason why we're here. Cold series, go home, Boston, and that would not hurt me in any way.
Let's move on.
Sure.
Let's move on to our favorite here at the House That Happens, of course, the NHL, and we will begin with a little story time.
Okay.
We're going to talk about my trip to Buffalo.
You have to, bro.
Oh.
You absolutely have to.
One of the greatest days of my life. I'll just put it that way.
Until you have a child.
That's true. So first of all, I'd like to shout out Rob for driving us all to Buffalo. Ryan, Stefan also joining us. It was a good foursome there. We took a trip to the Anchor Bar where they invented buffalo wings.
Have fun?
But waited an hour for a table, but it was worth every second.
Okay, do they have entertainment there or anything?
No, nothing. It was a dive bar.
Oh, I know
it was
that.
A dive
I know.
bar.
It's not.
But the chicken wings were freaking huge.
I heard.
I was like, oh my God. And like it lived up to the hype. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
And then for the game itself, just the moment you walk in there, it was electric.
Yep.
Leafs and Sabres fans, kind of like dissing each other.
Yep.
You go in there, like it's just loud as hell.
Yeah.
Super loud. And like the rink there, it's like you're on the ice.
Because the older arena.
Oh, it was cool.
I like that style of arena. Yeah.
And then the game itself.
There you go.
Oh my God.
There you go. And
3-0 game for my Leafs.
And Matthew's getting his 60th.
He got his 60th.
He'd swear he did it at home.
You don't say. The place lost it when that happened.
I seen it on the news.
It was a party in there.
Wow.
It was a party.
Okay,
and then at the end of the game, so a few times the Sammy chants were going out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, after he pitched his shutout, he came out to salute the fans, which I thought was just incredible.
On the road.
On a road game.
Game.
Road-ish game.
Okay. So let me just say this. If you think that Mr. Milani was excited about going to this game and saying it was one of the greatest days in his life, I watched too much sports shows, as you guys probably know. I know 3 or 4 of the most serious pundits that we hear every day on the news were at that game. And these guys have seen a lot more live shit than you and I probably combined. We're raving. They said that atmosphere, I think it was either one of the Johnsons, said they have...
Mike Johnson, yeah.
Said, I think this might have been one of the craziest atmospheres I've seen for a Toronto game ever. He's saying ever. That's a huge... He said ever. He didn't say like a playoff game, regular season. The dude said ever. A few of the other fans that had gone down there that were like talking on the thing and talking to Jay Onright and stuff, all these people that have been around hockey for 1,000 years all echoed what you were saying. So I'm just kind of jealous that you were fortunate enough to be, and I'd love those audiences. They don't come every day, bro,
No.
and I'm so glad you got to experience it.
And
so glad.
Some of the stuff from the Buffalo fans was pretty crazy too. So towards the end of the game, when it was pretty all said and done that the Sabres were going to lose, a banner gets rolled out that said, Ted Nolan equals playoffs.
Wow. What a kick in the face.
I could not believe that.
I'm not surprised. Ted's still loved.
I've said this before on the show, I believe. I think he's been given an unfair due in hockey.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt about that. But, I mean, it was the way the ownerships were moving at the time, too. The way he talked to people.
Sure.
But, I mean,
he's a great coach.
Oh, let's not take
He
that
gets
away
the
from
results.
him. Yeah, I don't know. He can't get back in the door.
It's unfortunate. And
Very.
we saw a Sabres jersey tossed on the ice.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's just hilarious. You know what I mean?
But even like the Sabres fans in there, like kudos to them, like some of the most hardcore in the world.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
funny guys too. When the MVP chants came out, one of the guys was like, what do you mean Kucherov's the MVP?
Oh, yeah.
That gave me a good laugh. But people of Buffalo, you know how to put on a good show. I will say that.
And you know what? I'm just glad, like I'm saying, seriously, I'm very jealous. I want to feel that energy. I heard it was like a rock concert encore energy for the whole game kind of deal, which is like just marvelous.
Oh, the whole time it was buzzing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I heard. You know what I mean? And I heard that the crowd was split about 50-50.
Oh, more Leaf fans.
It was more than 50.
Lower bowl, it felt like 80%.
And you know what I found out that this week at the end is that, like, which is why Ottawa's trying to cut this out,
Good luck.
is that when you go out there now, like, okay, if you're going to go to a Montreal game, we might get two. We might get two. We might get two. And then you get in, you hope you switch seats and get around. But when you go to a place like Buffalo or Ottawa, you can buy 8 seats in a row. So you got 8 buddies that want to go to the game. You know, like you paint numbers on yourself.
Sure.
You're going to be all right in a row at the game. And that's been pissing off the Ottawa ownerships and the Buffalo ownerships, which I say, not my problem. Tickets got sold. You made money. Shut up.
And a lot of these are for secondhand too, like from the season ticket holders.
There you go. So
especially in Buffalo.
Everybody cannot complain in those situations. And if it makes for a game like you went to see on Saturday night, I would watch on TV, you could tell. It was coming out of the box, man. Come on, you go, oh shit. Milani's getting a game tonight.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you
We
see
had
the
great
energy.
seats too, 16th
Oh,
row.
and thank you for, you sent the house. I said, what a seats. You guys had great seats too.
We had great seats for that little scrap at the end,
Oh, yeah,
too.
that too, yeah.
We were right there.
Which, can I bring us to the next level of the show? I think sometimes now, like, when I was watching TV the other night and the hockey game started, the first thing I heard was like, you know, when Clint Eastwood comes on at the beginning of the movie and he's going to go, hey, Tuco, and you hear, doo-doo-doo,
Yeah.
doo-doo. All of a sudden I look out, I see the New Jersey Devils and I see the New York Rangers.
Oh.
Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo.
Well, before we get to that,
Okay.
we should also mention Toronto Maple Leafs clinch a playoff spot.
We're going to get to more Toronto in a minute. Don't worry. I want to get back to this little spaghetti Western thing.
The Devils Rangers,
Oh.
we're going to call it a full-out brawl.
Could they shoot their way out of that? In any event, okay, this is starting to be...
2 seconds into the game.
Okay, I got you. Okay, but let's look at it this way, okay? That's why I'm saying the Clint Eastwood movie. Let's look at it from a completely different perspective, and I'm gonna say this, okay? This is all on the players from now on. No more media, no more player safety, no more Gary Bettman, no more NHLPA. This is what I've been saying for years, but it's gotten out of hand, is this. The players have to police themselves.
That's why it doesn't work.
Well, here's what's going to happen now.
This is the classic joke. Oh, we went to a fight and a hockey game
Oh.
broke out. This just happened. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh, And remember, since we've started this show, I've always been the proponent of, we got to have a little bit of fighting. I'm starting to figure, did I jinx this whole game? Because you go back and
I'm blaming you. That's it.
I think you should, because I've been to go back to some of our earlier shows where I'm going, well, nothing wrong with fighting. We need a little fighting now and again. And then I bring it up again. Well, maybe fighting is... And now I'm going, okay, wait. I was one of those guys that said, I'm not for the stage fighting and all this insane. Now it's gotten cats out of the bag. Like, this has gotten nuts. Like, you know what?
We should say that Rempe did have to answer for his actions the last game against the Devils. But let's play some hockey first, boys.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. No, but if this is why it's weird in this way. I don't know. That's why I'm saying this is totally on the players now. The players can't say anything about anything because this is what happened. The other two guys that were scrapping must have known they were going to get in on it too, because guess what? It takes more than one. Everybody scrapped. Everybody. So that means when we went out there, everybody in the dressing room said, we got to stick up for our boy. We got to stick up for our boy. Get your man.
Although, if you look at some of the players on the ice,
they weren't too content with doing it.
Well, I don't think they even were ready for that situation. I don't think they thought that was going to happen.
Oh, I think more than one did. You can't have... Okay.
But don't you think there would have been some different players on the ice then? Brendan Smith would have been on the ice for New Jersey.
But I think that would have made it too obvious. All the other big boys were out there on the team.
Okay, but the Rangers had Keandre Miller. That's one of their best defensemen on the ice.
But a big boy.
I agree.
Okay, and then what's his name on the ice for the Jersey too was the sixth line guy, defenseman, and that big monkey. He just happened to be starting the game, and he's their sixth defenseman. So you knew something. I'm not going to say it was completely premeditated, but come on, bro. You're right. The Smith guy in Jersey, he would have made it more obvious.
Right.
That means that the Eagle Eyes would have been on the ice. Remember the beginning of the movie? Eagle Eyes is always in the bar. Angel Eyes. Yeah, he's always in the bar, right? So that's why Brad Smith was he can't, at the end of the game, he should have been out there. But no, Eagle Eyes or Angel Eyes had to stay in the bar at the beginning because that's how Clint Eastwood movies are. So I heard the music and I heard it go and I said, I'll be damned. And they're saying, but here's what got me, okay? Tell me one sports show that you didn't put on that they were losing their shit.
Oh, I know. They're raving about it.
Okay, so here's what gets me, okay? And
even the nerds, Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick.
I was going to get to him. Here's what I was going to compare it to.
By the way, on Merrick's show, he had a guest with one of the worst takes I've heard in my life. I'll get to that later.
Okay, this way, because that's what I'm thinking. Okay, but that's my point, okay? Who knows more about hockey? I'm just going to put this out there. Elliot Friedman or Pat McAfee? Let's just discuss. Who knows more about hockey? I don't know who was more excited. That's what blew my mind. McAfee was losing his shit. He brought on A.J. Hawk. A.J. Hawk was very diplomatic about it. He thought it was cool. He thought he understood this frontier justice. Players do it for himself. Yeah. He goes, you can't have this every game, guys. This is nuts. It was going on. But
smart guy.
Oh, yeah, that's what I respected. That McAfee was pumping the tires. Let's get PK on. PK.
I mean, that's also kind of McAfee's brand, so I'm not surprised.
Of course, this is candor. I mean, he was at WWE. Come on. You know what I'm saying? But he almost brings it in with, I always say, the thing about Pat McAfee, I always talk about his candor. That's a perfect word for that guy because when he doesn't know something as an expert, he does want to know, but there's certain aspects about sports that appeal to him. One of them is violence. So he's a football player.
Yeah, there you go.
So, when you add it all up, if you could see the show, I was on my couch laughing. I said, I better roll one now. I think Pat went up for the game. You ever zoom in sometimes his eyes? Come on, he's popping one for the game. But his sheer... childhood, I love this game energy, and they kept showing it over and over again, over and over again. And I'm sitting in my chair going, oh, Andrew, I think the fighting thing's gotten a little out of hand. They had some girls on an LA show talking about it. They're like, how you have too many girls are doing the show that don't know what they're talking about. They showed some LA show and two girls got on. They got up excited because they get to show all this fighting in LA. I don't even know who these two girls are, but they were.
It was a sports show?
Our TSN, some nights it's two girls that start the show.
Oh, right.
So they led off with all these, and these girls are losing their minds. And I'm looking, does either one of these girls know anything about hockey? I don't know, they could. But I mean, the thing about it is they were saying how This has upped the ante for hockey in the States. ESPN is loving it. The ratings people are loving it, and they're going, when do we get the next game that gets like this? People, you're all going to be disappointed. ESPN, are you listening to me? They don't do this in the playoffs.
No.
Because if you do, you could hurt your teams in ways you don't understand. So enjoy this nonsense now while you can. Because if they got to drop their gloves, like what fight was the other night? When Reeves fought Buddy.
Pizzetta on Montreal?
Don't call Reeves a coward because Abajaki wasn't out there to fight. That's crazy. What happened was that guy stuck up because Reeves looking for trouble. He had to stick up for himself. What's his name?
Pizzetta.
Pizzetta's in no way should be fighting Reeves.
No.
I liked his moxie. That's what fighting happens, because he says, I'm not taking your shit. And they went at it and he got roughed up. But those things happen in the course of a game. You got to go, no, we do this. I accept that. 19 minutes, 58 seconds. Look at the box score of the New Jersey Devils.
10 players tossed right off the bat.
And you see them all going out together? That's when I said, nobody didn't know that they were fighting before the game. You see them all going off. It was like they were doing like the army drill. You come on, you fight, turn around, you go off. You know, it was very, very interesting. And look, look at it, okay? We've just now spent 8 minutes discussing the whole thing too. But I'm going to take it from this point of view, everybody that's listening. When we started this show, Andrew and I used to discuss fighting's place in hockey. And you were a little bit, come on, Cruz. Like, and I'm going, we need a little bit. All of a sudden, be careful what you wish. Be careful what you wish for. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't think I personally jinxed it. But for one who doesn't really advocate this and going, come on, bro, it's okay. Let him go. Now I'm looking. There's more. What is fighting's up? What 20% this year? Majors are up, I think, almost 20%, like 16 or 17. I heard Ken Danico say it best. You know Ken Danico, Jersey. Love the guy. Absolutely love the guy. He said, there's a very fine line we have to dance in this. Sometimes we have to take care of things on the ice ourselves. Don't make it a circus. I thought that was a very interesting way to put it, because he's from back in the day, and he played on a Jersey team that was, a Jersey team. You know what I mean? Sharpen your sticks, let's go kill Rangers. You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking
there were no ballerinas.
No, definitely not. And I think Scott Gomez had a funny name for Danico, like the Eliminator or whatever. I don't want to go there because we don't want to say, like disrespect those guys. But I respect what Ken Danico had to say in that, yes, you cannot, let's agree. So we better do something in junior hockey. And guess what? The best fighters are going to come to WHL because they're not banning hockey. They said, screw that. They're not banning hockey. And the OHL is teetering. But they never had much scrapping in the Q anyway, because all they did want is shoot and score. Nobody's fighting. Q, come on, stop.
No one's playing defense in the Q.
Yeah, nobody's playing D, except the teams from the East Coast. I mean, the teams from like the Scotia teams and the Brunswick teams, which gives you a little bit more to talk about our genetic situation, but we'll go there another time. But I'm saying, let's not take the fighting away. But, guys out there, let's just not make this a spectacle for the Americans. They got an election coming up. They can deal with their spectacle that way, not on the arena, because I hope it doesn't wreck the playoffs. Now, if two guys drop back in the day, like, you see those fights where guys just went at it, and both guys went off, like, I remember PK in the playoffs fighting somebody. I remember somebody of the Leafs. I mean, even back in the day, you know what I mean? Darcy Tucker got in a couple scraps in those playoffs back in the day, but those were both guys went off. There was no instigator.
Not like last year when Stamkos should have got an instigator for dragging Matthews into one.
Oh, yeah. That should be it, too. But then that becomes the subjective of the refereeing, and that's 2-star scorers. Stamkos, I like Stamkos.
You should have got an instigator on that,
100%. And I'm a Stamkos guy. I like him a lot. But I went, Stevie.
Yeah.
When you're wrong, you can't defend the wrong. And we don't do that at the house, even though sometimes I bend it a bit. But, that should have been. And so I'm hoping in the playoffs it's going to be there. So as we go on, let's go get off the subject like this. I'm thinking that what it is that it's the media outlets that every day got to talk about something. So if they get a little spark, they bring it in just like we are doing it now, okay? I understand that. But let's get on to the next question, like, are the Islanders going to make the playoffs?
Oh, I mean, now it looks like yes, but I mean, they're a team that could lose their next 4.
This has been insane, this last little rundown.
Pittsburgh's all of a sudden back in the race.
And Sydney's going like, I'm a penguin.
Oh, my God.
Did you hear crying? I'm a penguin. I'm a Penguin.
I'm
going,
glad he's saying that.
But I mean, what if they jump in the back door? I'm feeling sorry for Stevie Y and my boys. Even though
I am too.
Aren't they in? Are they in right now? Aren't they?
I believe they are.
Just by one? I seen their schedule. It's not
tough.
It's not looking good for them. But we're a week away from ending this, right? Like everyone's got
week and a half.
Week and a half. Everyone's got 5 games, 6 games to go, right? Wow.
This is the last Saturday coming up.
In this last Saturday, yeah, and you just kicked my ass last Saturday. I had a mess.
The Saturday before. This Saturday you beat me, but
did I get ahead? I had a couple bad games.
I had a lot of bad games.
Okay, we'll get to that. Okay.
Speaking of New Jersey, before they found themselves embroiled in a little bit more controversy on Saturday night when Ottawa might have to admit that they may have been a little hypocritical with how they treat some empty net goals.
Oh, there you go. What are we saying there? That's what I'm saying. That's what makes hockey crazy. You know what I mean? So does that make 2 wrongs a right?
I have no idea. I mean, it was weird by Heischer because usually in that play, like when you're kind of going toward the empty net, like after the buzzer goes,
it in.
No, you drag it towards the corner, away from the net.
Yeah,
he decided to drag it in the net, which, okay, fine. And then all of a sudden, Brady Tkachuk, Captain Senator, goes after him.
But you knew Tkachuk. Who was the first guy going nuts?
Oh, of course.
You knew that was coming, and then all the animals followed him.
But I just find funny all the Senators fans, like, recoiling, like, online. Oh, no, this one was different. This one was different.
Shut up. That's what I'm saying about hockey. It suits you at the time.
Oh,
you know what I think? I hope Ottawa doesn't make the playoffs for 10 more years. I'm getting sick of their antics. You know what I mean? And they got good players.
Tim Stützle, the diver.
Oh, come on. Tkachuk, get out of there. Come join Montreal or something. You ain't winning nothing there. You're not winning nothing.
Well, if he leaves, he's going to go to the States like his big brother.
Of course he is. He's going to go down and join him because what Florida's going to do, because I think Florida's starting to slide off the cliff here. They better do. They better tie this.
They still scare me.
Well, I might think they might be doing a little sandbagging now too because their position doesn't change. Now
they're not going to
catch
pass Boston.
No, Boston went on their little run. Toronto's not going to catch them. So what are you doing? You're in limbo.
Although Toronto's starting on the road in Florida, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world.
I'm not saying it's bad either, but okay, it's not going to be decided by the week. Like technically or mathematically, Tampa Bay could still catch Toronto, and Toronto could still catch Florida.
Yes, but I mean, if you do the math,
it's going to be bad math. It's going to be algebra that I don't understand or some shit like that. But I'm saying, so when those teams are in there, how do you play your games? You know what I mean? Like, I got into a discussion with my, because we're walking around the street with our dogs, and we get together with our dogs. They all know I do a podcast. They were listening, and they were asking, they go, and I always say, Cruz, what do you think of this? Or, Cruz, what do you think of that? And I say, listen, guys, we don't know what's going on because we don't know if they're playing for keeps right now. So they go, well, let's get Matthews 70 goals. All you big Leaf fans. And I'm saying, I hope Matthews scores 70 goals in rhythm of the game.
Yes. Don't force it.
No, don't force it. Like, he scored that goal against the Habs. That's what a goal scorer gets. You just keep throwing puck towards the net, shit might happen. 20 next times he does that same thing, it might go right by, or somebody might put it in the net, and he'll get an assist. But he put it in front of the net and went in. Got another goal. What's he at, 64 now?
He's 6 away with 6 games to go. 6
games to go. Now, I think it would be amazing. First of all, let's just say this, people. You Toronto Maple Leaf fans are very, very lucky because to have a guy score 60 goals twice in his career.
It's incredible.
This is incredible. I've been around hockey a long time. I don't see this shit every day. You guys got a bona fide all-time, this is a goal scorer. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate what he's doing.
Yes.
I hope he gets 65, just to be a different number, and I think he probably will. But don't force it.
I agree.
Don't force it, and don't burn the guys out. I think this line, do you think they run this line for the rest of the year?
Yeah. Why not? It's working.
I say it is too, but and I heard the greatest thing. Nylander can make is one player on that team that can make his own line. So don't call them third line. Put Nylander's playing with these guys. Okay.
Oh my God, that's taking a page from the Mike Babcock book.
Oh, don't. Oh God.
I don't outnumber my lines.
Okay, take that back. Anytime you put me and Mike Babcock in the same sentence, my beer tastes funny. Okay, so
I take that back.
Thank you very much. But in any event, I know what you're saying. I want Matthews to get there. I'm just saying right now, and I'm not the biggest Leaf fan in the world, but I'm saying this, and I don't give a damn what you're saying. Ryan Reeves has played a little bit better lately.
I agree.
Okay? But the first night of the playoffs, I want Robertson in the line, even if you're playing Florida. Because if you bring Reeves in the first night, then you're going to get the Clint Eastwood music starting by the
Well,
second
we might
period.
get them both in the lineup anyways.
You think you can get them both in?
If Yarncroke isn't back healthy,
Yarncroke,
then
I
yeah.
don't think he's going to get back, and I don't.
Then I think they're both in the lineup.
They weren't both in the lineup the other night. Reeves got in, and Robert sat.
I think they'll put Robertson back in.
The two guys I've been pining for, and I shouldn't care because I keep tabs on the Habs. The two guys I keep pining all year are who? Benoit and Robertson. Robertson scored goals last couple times he was out. Reeves come back. They put him back in the freaking press
I think
box.
Benoit you have to put back in.
Oh,
Or
I
leave
think
him in.
he should
Yeah.
be one of your 6 guys when the playoffs start. If Benoit's not starting one of your 6 guys when the playoffs start, I'm going to call up Keith personally and say, my partner wants your ass fired. Are you fired yet? Come on. And Samsonov's your goalie.
Yes.
That's done. We're done with all those questions. Right now, he's earned the spot to be your number one. The thing that Toronto has got to be concerned with as far as me is the defensive pairings that they're going to put into the playoffs when they start. That's all over the board right now, bro. And you're in game what? 78? Whatever, 6 or whatever?
77 tonight.
77. Do you think Boston's think that they're going to be concerned about what 6 guys they're sending out there? Do you think Florida's thinking about what 6 guys they're sending out there? Do you think Tampa's thinking about what 6 guys they're sending out there? No. They pretty well know what their 7th and 8th, and you guys are going to do this. I'm curious to see if Giordano plays.
I think that's going to come down to health of the decor.
He has not looked at a place coming back to play these last couple games. He's trying to earn a spot. You seen him? He has played 2 games since he's been back.
Yeah, no, he's looked fantastic.
He's that's what I'm saying. And he.
But the problem is with everyone healthy, it's like who is going to be the guy that you sit? Giordano.
Edmondson can't play yet because you can just do something. We traded
I would
for him. I would
stick him in the press box right away.
Edmondson?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get on. Sorry, I'm glad we traded for you, but we all make mistakes. You go to the press box. Okay, there. Now your next
It's
question.
tempting to say just scratch Brody, but I don't think that's realistic at all.
No, because then here's the question is with the Liljegren issue. He's the guy that can put the puck at move. He's one of your better guys of moving the puck forward.
Yeah.
He don't do nothing else. That might not work against Florida. He's not going to be no tough. He doesn't move guys out in front of your net. You know what I mean? Benoit's going to move a guy. Brody's going to move a guy. McCabe's going to move a guy. Giordano's going to move a guy. And you're going to need that against Florida.
Well, and you're going to need guys to move the puck out of the zone, too. That's the thing.
Which
is where Liljegren comes in hand.
And there you go. But I think Benoit's been doing it much better. And they got Riley out there, and he can always do that, too. And Giordano doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but it would be nice to have 2 pairs of guys that could do that.
You ain't got it. Sorry. Unless Benoit's been better at doing it. Got his heads up coming under.
I believe in Liljegren.
I do bet that he will be on there, but at whose expense?
That's the question.
And you can't sit Brody because of his contract? I say you play Brody because of his reputation. So you started. So you have Riley and Libs. What do you say that guy's name? Libushan. The guy had
Libushkin. Riley Libushkin, Brody. McCabe. Those are locks.
Okay. And then you have Benoit with Liljegren. Or Benoit with Giordano.
Yeah.
See how they play in the first couple of games, and then you go from there. But I think Benoit's going to be a solid the whole playoffs. Block shots.
I think so, too.
Skating very well, moving the puck forward, playing with more confidence, knocking guys down in front of the net, which is huge in the playoffs. Clearing the front of your net out. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think his defensive game has evolved tremendously, considering that when we signed him from Anaheim, that wasn't his bread and butter at all.
No,
he was known as more of a puck-moving guy.
And look at him now. I think you guys should be very happy to have him.
I am very happy to have him. And the extension that we signed him to.
A bonus, yeah. So we're going to have to see what happens. But looking around the rest of the league, I don't think that Toronto should be really worried about anybody they have in the first round. What they should be thinking about is we just got to win.
Yeah.
No more like... It's like getting to a point now where it's like my joke about finding the mock draft expert. Everybody knows who the Leafs should be playing and why and when and who should play at that day. And I just go, really? I've been watching as much games as anybody on the planet. And I've got my assessment of the Leafs. And I think for a whole season, the way I've talked about the Leafs, I've been pretty steady in the way that I've thought that they are going to be and the way they're going to do. Now, I thought they were going to be a little higher in the standings. You're damn right I did.
Yeah.
But I'm still not, I'm not ruling out the fact that they make a better playoff run than last year. I'm not ruling that out only because of the tenacity they've showed as a team. Like, you're not pushing the Leafs around this playoffs.
No.
And that's what's huge. You know, the last couple of years, it's always, they're going to get pushed around a bit. And I think they can do it some nights without having Ryan Reeves in the lineup. I think they're tough enough without him. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I want to trade his spot for a Robertson when it comes to playoff time. That's what I'm getting at. Even though Reeves has played much better, he's picked up a couple points.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think you owe it to him to play at least the first couple games.
Oh,
the
and
way
not
he's
only
played.
that, he's been very responsible in his own end, which wasn't showing in the first 20 games of the year. When
Definitely not.
So he's more responsible in his own end. He's obviously lost a couple pounds. And if you don't know how to fight, don't fight him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That would be, whatever. I just want to point out a couple games I've seen this week.
Well, before we move off of the Leafs, I also want to mention they signed college prospect Jacob Quillen.
From Boston College, right? Or Quinnipiac? Quinnipiac, okay. Yeah.
And other players just got signed by San Jose as well. But that's it for the Leafs. What did you want to mention?
Oh, a couple more things before we go on. I just want to say that sometimes I think that every broadcaster, and myself included, we should all go back and say, we were right talking about Samsonov at the time. That man cleared waivers. He's your starting goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the 2024 playoffs. He deserves it. He really
100%.
He deserves it. You know what I mean? I think we cannot understate the story that this man has presented to us this year, not only as a player, but as a human being. Like some point, we were making jokes about this guy. You know me, my middle name is Ruthless. I wasn't giving the guy no breaks. But to come all the way back from whatever it was that went on in his life, we don't know what it was. We don't need to know what it was. We just need to know this. He's going to be a very adequate goalie, maybe above adequate for what you need going into the playoffs. I'm giving the man big props.
And speaking of him, the Masterton first round of nominees came out, and of course he was the Leafs
he
nominee.
has to be. There's no other. If it wasn't him, it would be Martin St. Louis. I mean, not Martin. What's the goalie's name?
Martin Jones.
Martin Jones, yeah. If it wasn't him, it would be Martin Jones. Who I think that people should be buying him beers.
Sure.
Because people completely forgot about him. You know what I mean? Like
he did his job.
Greatest stopgap in the history of your team in many, many years. He was a Lego guy.
Yep.
Pulled out the one piece, put in the other, and you got to where you are here. So we're going to have to see. But
do you think Samsonov becomes one of the finalists for the award come June?
I bet on it. I have to say, because it's what is the word for
perseverance and
there's the
dedication
word.
to the game.
Perseverance, that wins it for him no matter. The guy cleared waivers, bro.
Yep.
He was on waivers. People were talking about, remember me? You can play in the KHL.
Yeah.
All that shit we were saying,
Now, I mean, it's not out of the question for the Leafs to bring him back next year.
Oh, no doubt about it. And he's been making the key save. Okay, well, when someone says, well, he let a couple of 9-irons in from the fairway. I've seen every goalie in the league do that in the last week.
Yeah.
Makes the big save at the right time. Very aware of the play in front of him. Gets back up quick. It's not flopping like he was earlier in the year. Less flopping.
Yeah.
I've noticed
He's
that.
won 12 of his last 14 games now, something like that.
One of the highest percentages in the league since the All-Star break as a winning goaltender. Big shout outs to
Ilya Samsonov.
And, oh, by the way, one of the hottest goaltending duos in the NHL, coincidentally, is the Montreal Canadiens since Allen has gone to New Jersey. Statistically.
That's not true.
Check it out.
They showed their numbers on Hockey Night. They were not good.
They were. You know why? Because the last game, my buddy Montemont got shelled. That kind of screwed us up. But it was a game before. I'm thinking of, we were talking on Saturday. I'd be better off with this. Things have happened since Saturday. But I'm saying that it's very interesting that when you look at save percentage and all that kind of stuff, they've actually done better. With Allen
Primo had good, had okay numbers, but like Montebo's numbers since Allen got traded were not very good.
Oh, yeah, 2 bad games. But I mean, if we're going to the next season with both these 2 goaltenders, I'm going to be very happy. But that's not what I'm talking about.
No, I want to get back to the Masterton nominees, by the way.
Okay.
Ilya Samsonov, Frederik Andersen, Jonathan Drouin, and Sean Couturier are some of the notable names on there. I think those are great names to have on there. And I have to say this, even though he just pisses me off every time I see him in that jersey, is that give Jonathan Drouin a little bit of, give him a little rope on this too, because we know where he was at. I was glad to see him leave Montreal. I think I sent a limo to pick him up to go to the airport, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure. But same with Freddie. And look what he went through, and now he's back out there. So those are very, very strong candidates for the Masterson. And as we go there with a week and a half left, we're going to have to take a look at the fact that, hey,
Carolina is now rising up to be the Carolina that looked like it was before the season started. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
And Jake Ensel, what an addition.
Oh, there you go.
Fits right in, hand in glove.
Kokamini almost got his first scratch, but he didn't. Word around the campfire said he was going to get. I feel sorry for the kid. He plays good, but
After that tremendous start he had, just completely fell off this year.
But you know what it is Carolina is really, really deep forward-wise, especially at center. They're one of the stronger teams in the league. Maybe that's what it is. He's still only, 22?
No, he's older than that now.
24? He ain't
24.
25. He ain't
Getting
25.
there.
Okay, 3 years ago when we made the finals, he was 20. When he scored that overtime goal.
23 then.
So he's 23. Yeah, he was 20 years old when he scored that great overtime goal against you guys. He was 20, remember?
Was that off the Dermott or Galchenyuk turnover?
I'm not going to say which. I think it was a Galchenyuk turnover, yes.
Because the Dermott one was Suzuki scoring, I believe.
Yeah. And I have to say this. I still don't know if Suzuki's a number one center, but God, is he
playing very well.
Extremely well. If you had told me he was going to get 35 goals this year, he's got 34 now. He's not getting 40. But if he gets
you never know.
I'm still thinking he'd be a better as a number two. I'm never going to be sold as him being a number one center.
Know.
Oh, yeah, maybe if he keeps going on this trajectory. But he's turning out to be the better player than Caulfield. I thought Caulfield would score more goals. But
it's true.
But I think that Suzuki's a shiftier, smarter hockey player.
Yeah, better both ways. I agree.
I think that Caulfield is this all we're going to get from him? Sorry to say, I don't want that little discussion.
I was not expecting that coming from your mouth.
Okay, then I'm going to explain it to you this way. I'm going to put it in this category. Remember that discussion that we had before the show started on players and whatever? He fits into one of those categories.
Yeah, but he's built, though. He's short, but he's
built.
built.
I thought Suzuki's built thicker. I looked at him the other night and I go, maybe if Caulfield was back in the gym because he's still young too. Because you know what? Suzuki's a $190 or something. I did not know that. He's a thick guy. Caulfield's no $190. Might be my weight. Gets pushed off the puck too much.
He should get on the San Luis training regimen then.
There you go. St. Louis had, thing about him was he had those tree trunk legs. That makes a big
Crosby
difference.
too.
Crosby's the forefront. But let's talk about teams that are making the playoffs right now. What do you think?
Who's making the playoffs?
No, who do you think is going to be right now? If you had to pick, say, like the Final Four right now before we get going.
Oh, my God, for playoffs.
I'm thinking it's starting to take a shape up. I would love to see if it lines up. I'd love to see a Dallas, Colorado.
I think Vegas is going to the Final Four. I think they're going back to the finals.
I'm just trying to get them out of here. I'm just trying not to talk about Vegas. But
I would say Vegas, Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Then the East.
And the Stars. Dallas is good.
Yeah, Dallas Stars, yeah.
If they make it to the finals, you're going to be surprised?
No.
Definitely not. No, they're really, really good. They're really good. Edmonton, I can't figure them out. Like, did you see against Dallas? That game was like, you you ever see that movie From Dusk Till Dawn?
Oh, yeah.
The Dallas Edmonton game was like that movie. It was so intense. It was so thing. And then they walked into the bar, 5 goals given up, everybody dies.
It becomes a different movie.
A completely different movie. What was the final score of the game? 6-2? 6-3, the Dallas Edmonton game the other night? It was 1-1 or something late. It was such an intense game. And boom, 4 goals. And then the very
5-0.
5-0. But it was like 1-2-0 forever. And then boom, Dallas scored 4 goals and the game was over. But then look what happened when Edmonton played Colorado.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But then Edmonton was at home, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were on the road for the other game. So I'm going, this home thing could probably work out a little bit better than usual this year in the playoffs.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Agreed. But I'm thinking that there are going to be some fantastic playoffs coming out of the West.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going to get some grinding, beat the shit out of each other's stuff in the East as we usually do. I hope the pace gets a little bit more. I think that it's going to be very interesting. Like, are you going to call who's going to win the scoring race yet?
Oh, that's what I want to get to next.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's a 3-horse race. Kucherov, McKinnon. McDavid's fallen a little bit back. 6 points back of Kucherov for first. But
he's got 2 games in hand, doesn't he?
He might.
He has 1 or 2 in hand, I'm pretty sure.
He's got 1 game in hand.
Well, 1 game in hand now. Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time. You do not have to change your opinion. You do not have to rectify the situation. I'm just going to ask you this question one more time. Is Kucherov a top 5 player in the NHL?
No.
Oh, you just won't stop. More stubborn.
I like
than
two-way guys.
He's got more points than he did in his Hart season.
Okay, on the power play.
I'm not saying the guy's he's a dynamo. You got him out there. You got to put your
He's
eyes
good.
on.
He's very good.
He's got to be top 5. Look, he's going to score.
No, he doesn't.
He's going to be 140 points.
Okay.
How many times 140 points scored in the last 10 years? I want you to give me a mom. Let me look at my book here. Let me have 140 points scored. Give me a while. I'm looking for him. 140 point scores. I'm looking. Can I find one? Come on, 140 points. This ain't the 80s.
No, it's not.
140. What's he got? 137.
136.
136. The boy going to score 140. 2 years ago, if you said 140, that'd be a guaranteed Hart. You'd be the guy scored 140, he's getting the Hart. If you had set the season 2 years ago.
Well, when you have 3 guys that are at 130 though this year,
well, that tells you
it's a little bit of a different story.
Okay, agree. But let's just say 2 years ago, and you said, okay, Andrew, a guy's going to score 140 points this year. What would you have said? Oh, that's got to be the Hart Trophy winner. Would you not say that?
Sure, but we
got a guy who's going to score 140 points. You can't even put him in your top 5. Come on.
Top 5 players.
Top 5 players.
It's a tough list.
It is.
I'm not saying he's not fantastic, but we're talking about the best of the best.
He's 140 points. What more does he got to do?
It's not all on the score sheet.
Shovel your driveway.
It's not all on the score sheet.
Cut your grass. Take your mom to the hairdresser. Like what? Come on. Okay. I'm not saying that he'll ever win a Selkie.
Okay.
Let's just get
I'm glad we agree.
Okay, so can we agree? I'm not saying he never plays Selkie. He's not a turnover machine. He's a bit of a cherry picker. Not a bad combination. Did you not say a great scorer? Every great scorer's got a little bit of cherry picking in it. But he's not a turnover machine. And that's huge because that means he is being a little bit responsible for the guy that's on the ice with him.
Sure.
But then again, the problem with them is they got him and Stamkos. And neither one of those guys are going to win the plus-minus trophy ever.
No.
Okay, you know what I mean? But Tampa's always there. You said at the beginning of the season, you called Tampa not even to make the playoffs. I said, come on, bro.
But the only reason they're making it in is because the East is so bad.
Well, you're going to play who's in front of you, right?
I agree.
There you go. So whatever, if they may be bad, they may be not.
I still think Tampa's hella flawed.
What's that?
They're very, very flawed.
I just think
Tampa
it's the defensemen help them out. They got the Hedman and Buddy there, even though they lost Seguchi or whatever his name is. They still got a solid core of no names. They shouldn't be no names. They're just big boys that play their position, move the puck well. And that does a lot for them. And, that's what the Dallas formula is. That's what the Vegas formula is. That's a Florida formula. That's why they're all going to be there in the end. That's why it's so scary to be a Leaf fan because you haven't defined who your decor is yet.
I think we have, though.
I hope you have.
It's just like we're just talking about who's their number 6, though. I mean, that's kind of like a typical Toronto conversation.
Well, with that in mind, I might have to do 2 shows in the next 10 days because after next week, we may be doing the baseball show. We got to do a pre-playoff show.
Well, that'll come the week after.
Will it? Oh, yeah, we said the timing's right.
Yeah.
The timing is right, yep.
One more thing or I guess a few more things for hockey, but Alex Ovechkin scoring goals 28 and 29.
Forgive you, Alex the Great.
44 all from beating Gretzky all time.
He's going to do it. I got to shut up, give him props where props is due. Great goal scorers are great goal scorers. I'm sometimes a little bit stubborn because, just because maybe where they're from and how they look like. I get bad like that sometimes. But in any event, I got to give him props. He's come back. Like, he scored some great goals this week. He's just, maybe this was snake bit. And look at the other night, so he hit a goal post.
He's one of the hottest scorers since All-Star break, though.
Right up there. Suzuki, and Ovechkin.
And Matthews and Hyman, too. Matthews and Hyman are top 2 since All-Star break.
No, Suzuki went past him now.
Oh, did he?
I think Suzuki or
either way.
past, but he's top 5. Hyman, and shouldn't we give a shout out to Hyman? We should give a shout
absolutely
out to him. And Reinhardt.
Yes,
both of them. We've been saying that. Like, you know what I mean? Play long enough, play steady enough, you could score 50 goals. Correct?
Absolutely. One big piece of news this week that could keep one team that is always one of Canada's favorites, of course, in their location. The Arizona Coyotes and their owner announced the intentions to win the land auction and commit $100 million in infrastructure, including a 17,000-seat arena and a viewing plaza with a roof. Auction is June 27th.
What are you telling me?
They're staying in Phoenix.
Utah.
No, Utah's getting an expansion team, it looks like.
I hope they don't. I hope they get to Arizona. You know what?
Atlanta and Utah are going to be the first expansion teams.
Don't get me singing George Clinton songs again, okay? Listen.
I like George Clinton.
Okay.
That wouldn't be the worst.
Okay, that's right. You want to know what his most popular songs is? Chocolate City, baby.
God.
There you go. Just letting you know, a little history. That deal is not finalized.
No, but they're saying they're going to win the auction. That's putting your dick on the table.
I agree, but I've seen a lot of dicks get cut off over the years. Okay, that's why I never do that. This is Arizona now. I'm giving you if I'm going to give this a realistic possibility of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 5 only because of the people that are behind it. Because this is serious old school Phoenix money, they're saying. Okay, so I'll give it that benefit of a doubt. But nothing seems to go down there because they're going to start coming back and talking to the people. And didn't I open the show today congratulating the people of Missouri?
But this isn't, they don't need any public money. This is all private money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I hope they win. I hope they win. Because guess what it's going to be? Then it's just going to be a place where that guy's going to feed the money and there'll be an organization that gets $10,000 a night and hope they win. You know what I mean? That's how they're going to be because Arizona's not a market for hockey. Charles Barkley said that.
You never know.
Charles Barkley loves hockey, and he doesn't understand why people don't go in Arizona.
But he's not going to be a guy that's going to tell you why hockey is going to be able to work or not in a market.
Barkley's too honest. He say I only like this because Barkley's you know what he is? He says there's too many games like in the NBA, and he's an NBA guy. But as soon as the NHL playoffs starts, he says I gotta watch those rounds because he said the intensity is bigger than anybody else. God,
but I mean, this is the first time that. Really, Arizona is going to have a real fair shake. So, I don't know.
We'll see.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Let's go the day after the auction. We'll have a whole new talk the day after the auction. Until then, I'm, me, hand in the wounds guy. I was raising hell on Good Friday. Remember that. Okay? All right? So, come on. I don't think Arizona and Atlanta, the teams that start with A. No. Anaheim's suddenly in trouble.
Yeah.
I think Disney's, they're not involved so much anymore.
No, Disney sold the team like 20 years ago.
So they got, who's in there now?
The Samueli family.
Yeah, so they're happy with what they're doing. This is the first time
You got to figure it out quick.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard rumblings about Anaheim. It's just the last little while. Things have come up about, we're talking about Arizona. When do we start talking about Anaheim?
Well, the team's been like miserable.
Oh, way too long.
San Jose too. Like the what?
They've been a bit of a mess. San Jose's okay. I think I'll never doubt San Jose. They just seem to have that.
But their attendance is very, very, very bad.
Yeah, they're suddenly them too, out of nowhere. Remember, San Jose was top 5 to top 10 in the league for 10 years straight. Now
15.
Was it 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're at their top 5 bottom. I was shocked when I heard Neil Young were you doing a season ticket? What's going on there, San Jose?
Not looking good.
And especially if those teams don't make the money to get the extra playoffs. That's what I'm saying drags down the league, so we don't need to bring in any more that'll be like this in 10 years.
Yeah.
The big thing is going to be, where's Vegas in 10 years? I hope they are where they are today.
It looks like they have a strong fan base.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they're first through the door, so.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that they're there, but they also need the organization to keep them there at that level too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we'll have to wait and see on that. Some interesting news out of the WHL. Landon DuPont today was just granted exceptional player status into the WHL, the second time ever.
Yeah, and who was the first?
Our buddy, Connor Bedard.
Bedard. Now, interesting I heard this week. Interesting thing that I heard, and this kind of disturbed me. Who has had more fanfare in the NHL this year? Connor Bedard or Empire State Building?
Oh, no.
I cringed. Let's not. We'll save that for another day because guess what? We might not want to go down that road.
I mean, I think a lot of that too comes down to what teams they play on.
Oh,
Rempe plays on a team that's in line for the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Bedard's on a team that's in line for the number 1 pick.
And let's not deny this, okay? Let's not deny this right now, okay? Bedard's having a solid season as a rookie. It's just too bad he's playing on a shit team. Like Wembanyama is playing on a great team, having a great rookie season, but he's playing on a shit team too. You know what I mean?
A couple more things for hockey before we wrap it up. The worst take I've heard in a long, long time. So on Jeff Merrick's show, he had Greg Wyshynski. They used to do a podcast together, Merrick versus Wyshynski, arguably one of the first big hockey podcasts that was on Yahoo.
What was Wyshynski? Was he a hockey player too? Or was he
No, he's a nerd.
I know, big time.
He's an ESPN guy.
Yeah,
now,
okay, now I know him. Yeah, okay, got it.
So he made the point that for the GM, they're arguing about who should win the GM of the Year award, right?
Okay.
He argued it should be Mike Greer because he's orchestrating a great tank for San Jose.
I want that weed. I want that weed.
And Merrick was saying he got a text from an agent that's like, is this guy kidding with that take?
No, I want to know what strain he was smoking.
I get what you're saying where it's like.
I get it. I
get what he's saying about why this guy's doing good at his job to tear it down. Fine. But GM of the Year for that?
Stop it.
Tearing it down's the easy part, buddy. Building it back up, That's what makes your name. That's what makes you a great GM.
Okay, I'm gonna
hand you a piece of hardware because you finished dead last by a lot. Get the fuck out of here.
Thank you very much. I watch a lot of shows. I'm going to have to start watching that show to see if I can catch some stupidity. That's insane. I'm all respect to my career. All respect to my career.
I mean,
come on, buddy.
Yeah.
What was the strain? I'm putting my garden in. Can I grow some of that? That's, you know what? That's I'm glad you brought that up. That's just this side of preposterous. You know what I mean? Like, that's
ridiculous.
Absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? Some people, we shouldn't be allowed to talk about sports on the air. You know what? He stubbed his toe that day. I just did too. Lost a toenail, so I can't talk. You know what I mean?
One more thing before we get to our power rankings. Some unfortunate news out of Newfoundland. The Newfoundland Growlers, the Toronto Maple Leafs ECHL affiliate, was forced to fold. They ran out of money, and now that leaves Newfoundland as the only province in Canada without any major hockey team, whether it be in junior or any of the professional leagues.
Okay, we're not a political show, right? But can I say one thing? If we got money to hand out to 1,000 different organizations from places all around the world to make them happy, isn't there something that our government do? Because Newfoundland is a little stressed economically. I think the people of Newfoundland are diehard hockey people. I think that we should do something as a country. If we can contribute to countries we can't pronounce so people can do things that we shouldn't be doing, we should be able to put some money together to get something to make sure that the people in St. John's or Gander can see some hockey. Agreed? I think I'm going to start something right here in the house that happened. I'm going to start something online. Hey, if you're going to give some government subsidies, I want a subsidy to subsidize a team in Newfoundland so that people can see some serious hockey. Agreed?
Agreed.
Damn, that pisses me off. Really does.
Pisses me off too.
Yep, sad.
We'll move on to our power rankings.
We certainly do. Do you want to give yours first?
Sure.
I think it's going to be an interesting week to discuss our power rankings.
Number 5, the Colorado Avalanche.
What? What?
Number 4, the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 3, the Boston Bruins.
What?
4 in a row. Come on.
What?
Number 2, the Dallas Stars.
What?
And number 1, the New York Rangers.
Okay. This is like when you're talking about, yeah, we're kind of the same, but we're not because the order. Number 5, I have Carolina.
Okay.
Number 4, I have Colorado. Number 3, I have the New York Rangers. Number 2, I have the Boston Bruins. And number 1 in my heart, the Dallas Stars.
Why are you acting shocked at my list? It's
because you did it differently. Like, who did you put on the top? You put the Rangers on the top?
Yeah.
You know what? They're going to hurt them. They got no tough defense.
You don't think Keandre Miller or Jacob Trouba are tough?
Trouba's a little dirty tough, but I mean, like,
he's still tough.
I don't know. The rest of the guys, like, they play dipsy doodle hockey some nights. So Trouba's going to do it all?
Well, Miller, too.
Oh, yeah. Miller, I would say, is a little bit tougher. But I'm just saying this much. I think the Rangers are a very good team. But if anybody can be had for that upset in the first round, I'm going to wait to see who that plays them. You know what I mean? Rangers are a good hockey team, but we're talking 7 games now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's hit, bang, go, hit, bang, go, hit, bang, go. See what happens. And who could they possibly play? No, nobody good. They'll kill it. No.
It's going to be a team like Philly or Washington or something.
We'll have to wait till the second round. No. I'm going to feel bad that Ovechkin makes the playoffs and gets freaking bitch slapped out quicker than he could say anything. You know what I mean?
That'll take us to our closing portion of our show. And first of all, I want to extend our condolences to comedian Joe Flaherty, passed away this week, SCTV alum.
Please, huge shout out to Joe. I was watching SCTV before you were born. I thought they were funnier than Saturday Night Live sometimes. They were so damn funny. God bless them. To the count.
To the count,
man.
Did the old commercials for Wonderland when the bat opened.
And not only that, is Guy Cabarello. That owned the station.
Owned the station, yeah.
Best station owner in the history of station owners. Love that guy. God bless Joe Flaherty. Condolences to you, to his family.
And we will turn it over to my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone in the world's freaking favorite segment. It's the Gospel According to Cruz.
I'll get that 1 second. We just want to know why John Calipari went to Arkansas from Kentucky, but we'll talk about that at a later time. Okay. Been thinking about this a long time, so I thought the only way to solve it would be do something like this. Dear Ross Aikens and Mark Shapiro, As an old school baseball guy, I'm so glad we have the opportunity to enjoy the beginning of another season for our beloved Toronto Blue Jays. Now, I know it's been interesting in the offseason, considering you obviously had $700 million to squander on a competent upgrades for the on-field product, and it's obviously you were unable to spend this money on anything that could say excited or motivated the Blue Jay faithful. You did give the city a full-blown erection, tracking a private plane carrying TV personalities and not the famous and most talented baseball player currently living on planet Earth. So you were a player who ended up getting played, and you just guaranteed that said ball player got $100 million more than he originally planned on getting, and I hope you at least got a thank you for coming out card. So where are we, and where do we go with all this money? Well, the team can't hit, so we acquire some veterans and some hopefuls who can perhaps improve a paltry production. However, paying money for a no-hit, all-glove player tells me you're intent on protecting a somewhat shaky rotation, correct? And anyways, you always seem to be invested in giving us a better baseball experience. As former bean counters for a team saddled with an unacceptable indigenous moniker, I thought coming to a market like Toronto with a budget given to you by Rogers would present to you an opportunity to build a team that would give us the ultimate baseball experience, which of course is a World Series championship. However, your true baseball experience and my true baseball experience seem to be completely different experiences. It is interesting how you flooded all the media outlets with all the charms you have added to the lower bowl with supposedly more comfortable seating and better sightlines. Damn, the Dome is 35 years old, and the failures to make the place a competent for any major sporting event is in the rearview mirror. I'm thinking if you did that much for pricing for the lower bowl, why did you not put the same effort into fixing the infield? The breakfast TV shows confidently displayed the wonderful variety of food items now available to the fans, so they can pay the same exorbitant prices they pay for their beer. Let's just ignore the increase to the cost of tickets this season. However, all this increase in the budgetary matters, could you not have thrown $25 million at an innings-eating starter who has shown a propensity to shine in the postseason to help solidify an unstable rotation? You had $700 million, correct? You keep saying this will be a big hit for the fans, which is great because I'm not sure what kind of hitting we'll be seeing from this lineup. It's a decision this team makes that has had the fan base excited, interested, or frustrated. Leaving last season's playoff debacle with Barrios behind us, already this season we see a guy like Schneider hit a late-inning, game-winning home run for a no-hit team, and the very next night we sit his ass on the bench so we can get back to guys hitting 112. In the defense of your decisions, you may achieve some financial gains, but will this pay off in the win column? I'm not sold. Mr. Shapiro and Mr. Akins, Toronto is a massive market with major resources and a pretty rabid fan base. Yet the Jays have been contending the last 2 years, but so have the Maple Leafs. Do you live in the Leaf limbo land too? Unfortunately, it seems the Jays are stepping backwards and not stepping forward. Is this Bo's team or is this Vladdy's team? I say neither. It is a city's team and a city craving for some postseason success. As I write this, the team is 4-6 coming off a tough 10-game road trip to start the season. Considering this lineup and its on-field performance, the trip could almost be considered a success. However, it is far too early to judge and too many questions that have not enough answers. My most fervent hope is that our Blue Jays are not irrelevant by August. The city is feeling a little uneasy about its sporting scene, especially with the Maple Leafs entering the playoffs with that sketchy decor. So I will be the purveyor of positivity and live with the belief that we will rise up like a diamondback and boogie into the big dance. With that in mind, when we get to the trade deadline, let's be buyers, not sellers. And with the home opener imminent, let's go Blue Jays, let's play ball. And that's the gospel according to Cruz. Agreed?
Agreed, except for that part about the Leafs. Like you could have left that
sorry,
out.
we're a compatible city. We're starving for some Leafs.
Why not us with the Leafs this year?
Last time,
why not?
I think that the Blue Jays exited in a Maple Leaf manner last
Worse. The Leafs can win games in a series. They don't get swept.
In any event, I'm going to get my ass out of here because I'm getting ready to go to see the national championship. I hope you are too.
Yes.
I do believe I'm going to be getting cut with some people out in Aaron Mills and San Fran. The next time we're recording, we could be doing it from an alternative location, and it could be a baseball issue, but we will keep you all informed. Correct?
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you would like to talk about, sir?
That is about it.
Anyways, I'm glad your health is much better because health is wealth. Mr. Milani got up off the couch and got his ass in here to do this show regardless of the situation because once again he
after
work and after thanking everyone once again for taking the time to listen.
Yes, we love you
very, very much. Alrighty, so until the next time we get around to you, let's hope that we have a national championship game that's great, a Toronto Leaf defense core that we're going to say is amazing, and most importantly of all, we'll all be watching.
Let's get a series win here. Why not?
Thank you very much. In any event, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
This is The House That Happened, and what do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.